Hello. Welcome. Hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome to the WardiTV European League. Hope you're all doing well. Just checking to see who's online and who might be joining us for this first match of the day. Just give me a moment. But yeah, it's WardiTV European League Round 4 today and tomorrow. Going to be some fun. We're going to be having today starting off with Showtime versus Sebestas, Festival versus Night Phoenix, and then we're going to hop up to Shameless versus Nikaract before we do Cristiana versus Scarlet, Bion versus Uthermal, and HARSTEM versus Heromarine today. I just want to check one more stream. Just trying to find everyone. See if people are coming or not. They are playing Stormgates. I get the feeling they will be at least one match late. All good. Cool, that's no worries. I just want to try and figure out who is where, etc., etc. So, perfect. Alrighty, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Indy's logging back in. We're going to start the day with some PvP with Showtime versus Sebestas, so we'll be getting into that in just a moment or two. I think we are good to go. Just double check the players are ready again, and we'll kick this off, guys. Thanks for joining us. It's the European League. Day 7, 4th round starts here. We're starting off in a 1 and 2 matchup, which, I mean, Showtime is down at 1 and 2. He lost to Goblin and Mana. He plays Sebestas to try and keep his kind of playoff hopes alive. And I'd say there's a pretty fair chance that Showtime shows up here, has a good showing, and probably gets up to 2 and 2 and plays into the playoffs in the round 5 after EWC. So we'll get to that a little later on, though. For now, let's dive into the action. Let's cast some StarCraft and let's get this underway. All right, let's run this. You really love this format? Yeah, me too. This format's been freaking great. It's been so cool getting to see all the different players. I mean, it's unfortunate for Sebestas, right? Because he comes into this match now, and obviously he's a major underdog. Which, you know, generally as you go along, you're meant to kind of find more fairer and fairer matches and so on, right? But that's obviously not quite the case here for Sebestas, who just finds one of the Titans who's just had an unlucky run. A couple of better players, a couple of good players have kind of taken him on and had some good run against him. So even though I would say Showtime's one of the top dogs in this event, he sits at 1 and 2 right now. So for Sebestas, it's a little bit rough, but yeah, in general, this format's great. Everyone's guaranteed a certain amount of matches, and you know, even if you lose this to Sebestas, you still get to play round 5 for a little bit of prize money potentially as well. So yeah, it's cool. It really allows us to have like a bunch of players who are at different kind of levels in the European scene and have them compete in the same tournament without it just being like, oh, well, in Group A, Showtime and Showtime and HARSTEM advanced over the 2 guys you would expect to get knocked out, and in Group B, oh, it was Heromarine and Bion advanced over the 2 guys you expect. Oh, and Skilless and MaxPax came out of Group C. Like, instead of doing that, we really get, like, maybe all those guys do advance, but there's a lot more games to it than that, right? Like, it's not just the favorites always beating up on the underdogs. So, yeah, I've been a fan of this format since we started running it. It's really nice. Gate number 2, Cybercore coming up. As we get this on the way, Probe heading down toward the bottom right-hand side. Let's just get settled in. And we'll see what's going on. So yeah, a couple gates coming about, Cybercore coming up. We get ourselves up and rolling for the moment. The Probe hopping around in the main base to try and see what's going on. yeah, just a couple of Adepts coming up. Stargate coming online. We got that actually proxied up on that left-hand side from Showtime, so he's going to open a little bit aggressively here in this PvP. I like it, bringing a little bit of feistiness to a matchup, especially when you're like the favorite. And people kind of, you know, if you're the favorite, people don't necessarily think you're going to be the guy that, you know, crank out the aggression, right? So this can always come as a bit of a surprise. Double Stalker as the opening helps. One more Stalker even will help more because it's even more anti-air you have. But of course that, you know, is dependent on the Stalkers being in position. As Sebestas, yeah, going up to 4 Stalkers. But if they go poking across the map, then it's not really going to matter that much. He does have a scout on the left-hand side, by the way, which is heading right towards the Stargate. It's a massive scout for Sebestas. He sees it now, turns these Stalkers around. Like I say, huge scout, because now he's aware of what's going on. The Adepts start to turn toward this pylon and Stargate. I mean, we're not going to change anything here with these two Adepts, right? Okay, they're actually shading the other way, so maybe they can bait a shot off, but I think Sebestas should just see that this is an opportunity to completely shut this Stargate down. The Adepts do actually commit here. Pylon will go down, though, and with that Pylon going down, we're going to see the Stargate depowered, Oracle cancelled, and Sebestas gets a pretty darn decent defense in the early moments right now. So is able to come in, is able to, yeah, shut this down in Showtime. I mean, he's going to maybe get himself a Stalker out of this, but that's a proxy Stargate that does nothing. He is very quick to expand, so you will have an expansion in his favor by a few seconds. Drops a Robo down instead, but now Sebestas has a Stargate of his own up and an Oracle on the way that is just not really going to get punished here for a little while. And so he's going to be able to take map control with that, and he's going to be the one that can really step out on the map and start to actually get things done with this, as that Adept did not commit for the Stalker there. I thought he was going to just go and jump on top of it and clean that up, but apparently not the case. 2 Stalkers, 3 Stalkers come in, and the Adept will get turned the other direction right away right now. Just going to pick that off. The Adept shading once again. A few Stalkers going in after the hallucination. Will shoot, the Adept will go down, so that is going to be a pick-off. The Oracle heads up towards the upper left once again. So the Oracle actually already defended against in Showtime, not letting that do much. He goes into an Immortal of his own, and as Sebestas plays a second Oracle and a Blink upgrade, the Immortal-based army of Showtime is going to be very important. He's going to need those Immortals to really kind of bulk up and kind of be the defense in that army and be the strength of that army, so that will be one of the major factors that we'll see in the next stage of this. It's kind of wild how a proxy Stargate that does nothing from Showtime has to cancel the Oracle. It's seemingly not putting him that far behind. I mean, to be fair, like, he should be kind of far behind, because, I mean, again, you look at this and you see, okay, well, there's 2 Oracles, right? So, 2 Oracles, they should be able to get some damage done. They are still an advantage on the map for Sebestas. He's going to have himself, you know, Blink, and that's where Showtime has a Robo in comparison. But there are advantages for Sebestas. That's not going to be one of them, though. Coming in before Blink and the Force Fields, I mean, even the recall is going to be wasted, unfortunately. Showtime gets a killer little moment or two now. They are going to be seeing the Oracles in the main, and they're going to go for a bunch of probes. Showtime going to be 9 workers behind following this. Oh my god, the Oracle's stopping for a second. Careful. Let's not lose that low HP one, as we do see, obviously, Showtime going across the map and looking to commit. The Stasis Ward on that left side is just out of position now. Blink is still not done, so this is actually horrible timing for Sebestas to deal with, because Force Fields are going to make it so difficult for him. Showtime with 3 Force Fields cutting off 2 Stalkers. And yeah, Blink will be done in a moment. He is going to have to be a little cautious where that Prism is placed, because obviously you don't really want to let it be blinked upon, because if it gets blinked on, you're going to lose it very quickly. That's not ideal. If you're the Stalkers right now, I actually love the idea of trying to bait him into that stasis, because you need to do something to help yourself out a little bit at the moment. Couple Stalkers from the other side. Again, we do have the Blink available at this stage, so that does help you, Sebestas, moving around and getting a couple of different things done. Stalkers and the sentries pull back down that right-hand side. Another Revelation going down as well. Two more Force Fields getting put into place. Stalker's still trying to move back up. The next in the gateway coming about. Twilight Council building from Showtime. And again, the Immortal is about halfway done for the moment. Still bringing that through. A couple of Oracles sitting overhead. Ooh, it's a nice little catch. Oracle just gets bopped right off the bat there. Stalkers jump in. The Immortal gets lifted and saved. So that's a nice little catch. Couple Stalkers continuing over. Other Stalkers being chased around. That will be a little bit of a chase. Again, Blink starting up on the side of Showtime. The Oracle flying about overhead. The Charge Chrono boosting along for the moment. Resonating Glaives will be coming up from Showtime right now. The extra gates coming online. The Nexus coming over. I mean, this is definitely feeling good for Showtime, but we'll see, because obviously the Blink Stalkers still have potential. The mobility is still there from Sebestas. Showtime is just heading into that Resonating Glaives. If you get to that and hit that push, then that can obviously be very powerful. It's going to be kind of a late Glaive Immortal combo. Like, he didn't go into Glaives until quite late on here, so I would say that part of it's a little surprising even, perhaps. See the two Adepts going through and a few probes going down. Showtime, again, has had the economy bullied out of him a little bit, too. I mean, I get it, right? We're just going to wait for Glaives. We're going to get a few more gates, and we're just going to go. But, like, we got to go soon, right? I mean, I know, like, yes, he is going to go soon, but, like, he has to go as well. Like, the economy is not there for a longer game. His army comp is not there to build, play a longer game either. I actually think just more Stalkers right now is good, right? Like, yes, Adepts are tanky, but Adepts don't do great against Stalkers. The Adept timings are really good at catching someone who's like, okay, I'm in a good spot, let's start building some Zealots and getting the rest of my composition up. That's where the Adept timings can usually do extremely well. So, I'm not really convinced that this is going to... Like, I can absolutely say that I think there's a chance Showtime wins with the push, but I don't think it's like an ideal scenario. Pylon's Gateway finishing, +1's over only halfway done. Is he going to wait for +1? It feels like the longer you wait, the more you're giving time for that economy of Sebestas to kick in. He's got 4 cannons building back at home as well. The only thing he doesn't need to be doing is building a 4th base. That's one thing that's just absolutely not going to help him at all. Of course, when Showtime moves out, there's that major risk of losing the Prism as well. If that gets targeted down, you lose so much of your micro potential. You lose so much of your warping potential, so that would be huge as, Showtime's Adepts just out over here, going to lose a bunch of them as they shade away to the rest of the army, but that's army supply being lost that you just kind of need every little bit of right now. We're going to pop an early Guardian Shield Showtime as he moves through the center of the map, heading to the upper left and trying to see where he can get to. There's one stasis there. There's more stack defense coming up on this location. That's going to be absolutely huge. Catch some of these units. I mean, there's just so many Stalkers. Like, we are honestly not far from... I think we can just... I don't want to say we should just blink it on top of the Immortals, but I kind of feel like we might be able to, honestly. Like, it feels like we're that close to just having enough. Like, if you get rid of the Immortals, what's everything else going to do? Like, the Stalkers are going, aren't going to do that crazy against you. The Adepts are going to be like, whatever. Now Showtime building Blink. He's realizing that the timing's not there. He knows that there's just too much from Sebestas, so he backs up. And he's going to try and let this game go longer. Showtime, again, should be confident in the longer and longer of a game. And I do think if he kind of plays for time right here, he's given him, himself more chances to make good decisions, while his opponent has more chances to make bad decisions. And when you are the favorite, that's typically what you're looking for, more chances for you to make the right choices versus your opponent. So I think that's where Showtime is just going to back it up instead of just sending it right there, and he's going to try and stay in this. But that makes that eco damage taken even worse, right? Because then it hits even harder that you're down on workers when you're now playing an even longer game. This is not him hitting a timing. And it's like, oh, well, lost a few workers just before I attack. Now it's I lost a few workers and my economy's really been trailing for a significant period of time. The only concern I maybe have is that obviously Sebestas is only building Stalkers as well. And so there's definitely a point at Showtime gets Blink where I actually think his army becomes better again. Like, right, there was definitely a while where with the Adepts, I was like, okay, well, I don't think that you're going to do too much. This army does not look that fantastic. But now he's going to have Stalkers of his own. Actually, yeah, his army really is just going to be looking better with those 5 Immortals involved. I mean, Sebestas keeps showing up, tapping the Immortals and popping the barriers on them, but... I mean, Dark Shrine is nice. The charge coming up is nice as well. It's weird because like, you don't really want to build the Zealots with the Adepts in play. It's just we're getting so much beyond the part of kind of this just being Adepts now anyway, so... The flank comes down, and we are going to see an instant cancel on this Nexus, so he'll be delayed the 4th base. He's going to start taking this fight, and a lot of these Stalkers, Sebestas actually taking some pretty heavy hits. He's getting split into 2 portions, and he's not really... I don't think he was doing too well there. He did get a couple of sentries down. A lot of these Immortals surviving. Showtime with the Prism still available to him as well, and that's huge because obviously it allows you to reinforce across the map. Stalkers blinking forward as we punish him from running up this ramp. That choke point going to work against you. Sebestas trying to get out of there. Just going to hurt that little bit extra. There's that Prism. Showtime about 10 army supply lead upgrades are even. He's actually going to catch some Zealots here. He's just going to find some freebies. Just as Sebestas found earlier on the Adepts, Showtime will find the Zealots, shut those down. As you do have the Prism across the map, that's going to be a little bit more hopeful. We just need Charge to finish for those zealots to be a little better. Oh, has the detection as well, so he knocks down that initial stasis ward. Sees the Oracle to the left-hand side, blinks after it, but actually does eat a stasis because he just didn't see that one there. It's not the end of the world, because I don't know if you can really jump on this as Sebestas, but it does slow Showtime down, and now Showtime's got to deal with the DTs coming in, so he's going to start losing a bunch of probes, and that's a recall. It's so difficult to deal with this sort of harassment while you're on the map, and you got to warp in, you got to get the detection. I think this is a recall, clean it up, and then just go. I mean, I just don't think we do well the longer this goes, but that's a bunch of Stalkers going down there as well from Showtime. Obviously, Blink was on cooldown for them because they blinked onto the Oracle as they got stasis. Blink cooldown does not recharge during the stasis, so this is just basically a push now from Showtime, who basically just needs to say, look, I've got a bunch of Immortals, let's force a fight somewhere you can't just blink away and kite me forever. I mean, these Immortals are still going to trade amazingly well against Stalkers, even if those Stalkers blink, because you're going to be forced to blink so quickly. But that's where the Zealot warping comes in. That part is going to be huge, and maybe Showtime could justify an Adept warp in here. He doesn't have a ton of gas. Yeah, Adept it's going to be. He's noticed the Zealots, and I think that's absolutely the right call right now. Just power up a few Adepts to sit in the front line, stop the Zealots from just diving in and ruining the Immortals' days. Clean the Zealots up quickly, the few that are there, and then we should be kind of still within reach of kind of taking this fight. Showtime's not sure about it. His Prism is exposed. The Stalker's on Blink cooldown, though, so they will not be able to make the jump on top of that. 4 more Stalkers getting warped in. Stalkers continue to gather up. Plus 3 attack about to finish. He's just going to walk into the natural expansion. As we are going to be having, again, just more concerns with Showtime having to deal with this. I mean, it really feels like Showtime just has to find a way to fight, no? We're not going to be seen. He has the detection here. He does have some units. He gets some warp-ins. I get it, right? It's so difficult to kind of justify fighting when your opponent is running units into your side of the map. I guess Showtime also looks at this like his army's still good. And his economy's obviously been taking some hits, but he has been trading well when they have fought. This fight going to be very good for him as well, especially if these Zealots get cleaned up quickly, let the Immortals get back onto the Stalkers, and that's exactly what happens to Sebestas. This judges the situation. I mean, his Zealots just never were in good enough numbers. If this was like 15 to 20 Zealots, it's just so rough attacking, a Showtime dealing with that, because it takes you so long to deal with all of those Zealots, but that's just not been the case here at all. It's never really been that Zealot count, so kind of keeps you a little bit honest. Couple of Immortals firing some shots off. Stalkers going down. DTs show up on the right-hand side. The cannon going to be there as well. A few Adepts will warp in alongside this, and that is going to be the DTs getting pushed back the other direction. Stalkers stepping through. A couple of probes going down. More Stalkers getting cleaned up. As we are going to be seeing this fight continuing. Stalkers blinking back once again. Probes continue to come around. We'll just have ourselves this fight continuing. The Immortals continue to smack away at this. This is going to be the fight that I think Sebestas might be able to win, because this is where the Immortals actually do have to busy themselves with Zealots a little bit too long. Showtime going to have 3 Immortals left, but the Stalkers just blink in. Does he have enough to fight those Stalkers off? No, he does not. GG gets called. Sebestas will actually take the opening game, and Showtime will sit 1 map away from essentially just elimination in this tournament. If he loses here 1 and 3, 3 losses is not good enough to get you through into the playoffs pretty much, right? So this is kind of a big deal right now. Showtime, it was a rough start of the game. I actually felt like he pulled it back well, but every time he wanted to kind of set up to kind of make his attack, there was something going on from Sebestas that just said no. He was never really allowed to make set attack, right? So never was able to kind of get that going for himself or anything. And with that, we are going to go into a game 2 of this best of 3. Go Jill Chef, got 5 casts. Did we have 5 before? We had 4. I know we've just gained 1. I'm just trying to remember if we already had 5. Whatever, we're going. People need to click the lobby quickly, I guess is the thing. As we get this ready to roll. Persephone coming up, getting going. In the bottom left, our yellow Protoss is going to be Sebestas. And in the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player is Showtime. Sebestas has the 1-0 lead. Pretty wild one, right? See Sebestas coming out and knocking Showtime down would actually be a little bit crazy. Of course, Showtime sure prepping up for EWC in 1 week's time, but I mean, again, it's one game of a PvP. I think Sebestas did a lot of the right things. He didn't give the openings that, you know, Showtime was looking for. I actually like that he stuck on Stalkers so long, because it actually made it very difficult for Showtime, who definitely wanted to kind of push, but like the Stalker threat was pretty high. And also, it just meant that the Adepts were never really a factor, so that initial investment never really, you know, went for much either. And he used the Stalkers pretty well too. Probe nibbling, Cybercores coming up, gateways on the way out. Probes continue to build. On the left, so Sebestas may be thinking of the proxy. Showtime is already scouting in this direction, is lined up to spot that this is a fairly close and quick robo facility coming down. Going to come straight down, is going to spot that. Just move across for a moment or two. Looks like the brackets for yesterday. Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. Let me fix a feet. Don't know how that one slipped by. 40 bot is on the line, so probably mistyped earlier. Thank you for pointing it out. So yeah, a couple of devs moving about. Just gonna have ourselves the Stalker still warping in. Robo facilities coming up. I mean, Showtime is aware of what's going on, right? So he builds a robo facility of his own. He's not even going to expand. He's going to play defensive robo. This feels very difficult for Sebestas because I don't see what opening Showtime is going to give him to really do much with this opener. And the problem is that eventually, well, first of all, the problem is two Adepts are about to kill a bunch of probes in the main. But eventually, your robo is proxied, and because your robo is proxied, you lose your robo. So Showtime will be able to get more use out of his robo because it will never be depowered, versus what Sebestas is going to be able to do here. And that obviously creates pretty hefty issues. 8 workers going down, 9. Stalkers continue to whack the Adept right now as well. Just going to be seeing that going down. The Immortal pops out, and the battery coming up onto the high ground in the next couple of moments as well. 2 Adepts going to warp in. I'm actually going to see all those units at Showtime trying to move out a little bit. So now you know exactly where your opponent's trying to come from. He has a battery in the main, and with units nearby, I mean, this unload is just not going to go anywhere, right? So that's a shutdown. Yeah, the Adepts already did a bunch of damage too, so Sebestas just types GG fairly quickly. That might seem kind of fast, but like he's just behind in kind of every way. Especially just losing the workers puts you into a whole spot of bother that you did not really want to deal with. And just like that, Showtime ties us up 1-1. We go to ley lines for game 3 right now. Is Sebestas someone you don't know, or someone who changed their name? Sebestas is just someone you don't know. Has been just an up-and-coming player in the European scene for a good amount of time, basically. Thank you, by the way, Jewel Ben, for the Prime sub. Also, I didn't mention Mad Alien for the 64-month resub earlier, as well as the streamer Star Nova right with 75, 44-month resub on the Prime. And we also had the fresh new Prime from Raw. Try and say this one again. Oh no, that was yesterday's stream. Oh my bad. Never mind, that was yesterday. Well, I actually never said thank you to Rorschach Shackle because they subbed while I was offline, but there you go. Shout out now in case they are randomly here. Alright, go, GLHF, just swap one player around. Everyone's ready, just need the race switch. We are going to be good. Beautiful. Alright, first use of the day. Gonna go the distance. Go all the way to game number 3. And get this ready to rumble. Sebestas is what he's alt. No one can prove otherwise. Yep. This is actually replay. I played against Showtime just half an hour ago to make sure that these games were not going to interact with the stream, so I could obviously come and cast and keep my alter identity up and hidden away. Yep. And the Sebestas that casted on the stream at the same time as me at Home Story was a paid actor as well. I know. I know what you guys are thinking, Wardy. That sounds like a lot of planning. That sounds unfeasible. I know what you're thinking. I should set up a Patreon, try and cover some of these external costs, because it's getting kind of crazy leading this double life of being a semi-pro European Protoss player and a professional StarCraft 2 caster. We'll try and keep it up though, as best we can. We'll do what we can. Do what we can. Proven. Alright, let me grab the Indie cam. Best observer in the business. Sebestas wins, I get to keep my own prize money. Great financial decision. Yeah, exactly. 200 IQ. It's going down on both sides of the map. And nobody proxying just yet. So no proxies for the moment as we settle in here. Brody thinks the observer GOAT is Funker. Do I agree? I mean, Funker was like the OG observer, but I don't think Funker was the best observer. But, I mean, this was also a very long-ass time ago, so it's very hard to say. I personally, I mean, I don't think I ever casted anything when Funker was observing. So, personally, I think Indy, first of all, Indy's an amazing observer, even when, obviously, we follow him a lot when we're just, you know, streaming our events. And he catches so much, even though he's also casting, right? You know, so there's that factor to it. When Indy has been the observer for events, I think he's been by far and away the best. To me, it's undisputed. He misses nothing when he's only an observer. And he has a very good understanding of the game. So he's... The best thing about Indy, I think, is that he really understands when it matters. Like, some people sometimes get upset. They're like, oh, you're not showing the harass. But the good part is when Indy is the observer, he knows when that harassment doesn't matter at all. Because whatever else is happening is actually way more important. Because he has that, like, game knowledge. Like, I'm never unhappy with what Indy shows. Like, I don't have as much game knowledge as Indy, but I also have this idea of, like, you know, I want to look where Indy's already looking, because I kind of agree that, like, whatever's happening over there doesn't really matter too much. So, yeah, I personally, I really like Indy's observing. Keeps up with it all as well. It's nice. Inu's also very good as well, but Inu's never been, like, just an observer. Inu just also kind of observes while he casts, but he's also top tier. Definitely top tier on the follow him while I'm watching, kind of while I'm doing my own tournaments. You know, it's the game plan. If either of those two are in the lobby, we lock onto their camera, you just follow along, and then I look good because then every now and then, when they are busy doing the streamer thing and actually casting, so they miss something ever so slightly, I can jump in because I actually have more freedom to look at the minimap because I'm not trying to make the screen look pretty. You know. Face zooms on Katowice was so bad. No, people love the face. What you mean when something happens and so you like jump to the full screen cam? That's what they used to do in Pro League and stuff. No, that stuff's very good. You just have to have the right amount of time for it. Like, you really need to jump there for like half a second, jump back, People love that, actually. Like, people really do love that. Like, jumping to the full screen camera, seeing the reaction in full. But yeah, you have to have the, it just has to be executed well. I think, was that not a thing where, like, on day one it was kind of rough, but then as it went on, it got better and better? I seem to feel like that was that was how I played out. Because I think we gave the same feedback as casters on the first day, that it was a little bit rough, but then it got way better on day 2 and 3, if I remember correctly. Stalkers, sentries coming across here as a couple of adepts shade in. Probes are going to get pushed away. One adept going down, second adept going down as well. You just see the blink continuing up on both sides. Robo Facility coming in from Showtime, so he's not going to take any shortcuts in this game. He's going to make sure, just in case a Dark Shrine comes down, he will be prepped for it. Sebestas is going to go straight into the Forge. I think, obviously, when you're in a game like this, Sebestas, you're the one that's going to cut corners, take risks, and so playing no Robo is a little bit safer for you to do, because in the grand scheme of things, you need to make some of those risks to kind of take on Showtime in what is otherwise a fairly mirrored game. So I like the approach from Sebestas. The Showtime shows up. I don't think Showtime should have enough here to do much, right? Like, it's fairly equal numbers. The warp in defensively will come in. Oh, the adepts at the same time are nasty, though. 3 probes going down, make it 4, make it... should be 5 at least. And the force fields come down. The force fields initially from Sebestas not great. He actually lost his sentries initially. Now this Nexus is going to be taking some pretty hefty damage. Force field coming down. Sentry going to fall. And these Stalkers continue to fight. Guardian Shield popping up. It's going to be seen. I mean, the battery is going to do a lot in the background. But having the Guardian Shield right now versus not is a pretty big deal. But yeah, I think just the battery really offsets a lot of what you're able to do with Showtime. I do not hate him stepping back up the ramp when his opponents moved away from the battery. Overall, I think Showtime's still pretty happy with this. You look at what was lost. It was no Stalkers lost, but he did get rid of all 3 sentries of Sebestas, and that means no energy gathering on those for the moment, which means that, you know, if you want to rebuild one of those, it's very gas intensive. That means no hallucination scouring, no future force fields or Guardian Shield, so it does give Showtime an edge further down the line. I'm gonna go Dark Shrine here, Sebestas, which, as we've I mean, Dark Shrine can still work when your opponent's got the Robo Facility, you know, because they still have to have the observers in the right places. You're not typically going to preemptively have an observer in all of the bases that DTs might hit, so having the, you know, going DTs here is fine for Sebestas. I do not hate the concept, as a couple of these adepts continue to make their way around. A couple pylons dropping into place, gateways coming up. Nexus building through, the Immortal and the Charge coming online as well. Get that +1 started up as we speak too. A little bit of everything coming through for the moment as our Stalkers have a little bit of a skirmish back and forth. More Stalker being walked in. I mean, like Sebestas, confident to get out onto the map as well a little bit, not going to step away from that concept of like, hey, I'm out over here. You know, he's going to be happy to kind of get on the map and kind of do his thing for a little bit. So happy to see that for sure. Guardian Shield just going to pop up. Just going to see the Stalkers, the Immortal, Lazards gathering together as well for a few moments. Seeing the couple of adepts continue to come through. Probe's going to take some damage also. And we're going to see 3 workers already going down, so nice from Sebestas to get some damage in return. Showtime having the Zealots, having the Immortal already. This is a very different army to last time. Like, the Zealots are way more effective than the adepts are. And obviously we're not on as many Immortals, but he has the power to really step into these Stalkers and fight. Dark Shrine, by the way, is finished up, so we can potentially start seeing some DTs. But if they warp in, it's from across the map. There's no Proxy Pylon, there's no Warp Prism, so there's no way to get those DTs onto Showtime's side of the map ASAP. Showtime has an Observer as well, so you can't really use a DT defensively here as Sebestas. And that Dark Shrine investment currently is going to be completely washed and unused because, yeah, I mean, he's under heavy pressure. I don't know if you're going to find the time to warp in a DT and run it across the other side of the map right now. And like I say, warping one into this fight isn't going to do it for you either. GG, Showtime just has a little bit too much. Great first game from Sebestas where he plays out his advantage and he is able to hang on in there, but Showtime showing us who the king is in this game number 3 and game 2 as well. Obviously, the scout was just huge for Showtime in game 2. For this game 3, a little bit more of a normal game, and Showtime just showing what is up, and he gets the big W. Showtime is going to go 2-1, and he's going to end up 2-2 now in this group. So his final round 5 opponent, 2-2 is basically a win and in. So that's how they call it in the Pokemon TCG Swiss and stuff like that, and other TCGs. I'm sure the win and in, where if you win, you're into the playoffs, you're into the the next stage, basically, and that's what Showtime will likely have in round 5, because 2 and 2 should be about half of the field, or half. There should be like an equal amount of 2-2 players above and below the cutoff point for playoffs, and all of those matches will just be like win, you're in, lose. But there's nothing that rhymes with losing going out, but like, you know, I mean, it'd be really cool if it'd be like loss and get tossed, loss and tossed. You know, it's your loss and toss. You lose and you get tossed out of the tournament. I don't know, something like that. There's a reason they don't ask me to come up with the terminology on a extended basis, you know. Alright, Percival and Night Phoenix will be up next, guys. So TVP will be our second matchup of the day. Losing Cruise. Yeah, losing Cruise on home. Yeah, I like that one. That's better. If you lose, drink some booze. See, this is why I should have just let you guys come up with it. What's that on my shelf with the Terran logo on it? That's a great question. Which shelf? Whereabouts? There are some new additions to the background. I've had some stuff ready to go up for a while. Honestly, stuff isn't really where I want it to be. I just need to... I need to do a whole reconfiguration of this thing, but like, it's going to be later this year. I think later this year, start next year, I'm going to like redo my studio a bit. I don't know if I'm even going to change much in like the background. But I'm going to put some things in different places, I think, because it's so, like, I have so much stuff back here now that I didn't have when I first set it up, you know? So, the box above the starships. Top right of my camera. Oh, up there? That's the Wings of Liberty's the Wings of Liberty Collector's Edition. Yeah. There you go. That's my box sets of SE2. Wings, Hots, and Legacy. They all have a little race logo with them as well. So one of the new things is there's a drawing there that someone gave me at Home Story Cup. That's of some lurkers. That's very cool. I actually have a Wings of Liberty Sealed Collector's Edition back here. That's one of my secret prized possessions. It's sealed, but on the back it has a slight tear, so it's not quite fully sealed. But it's one of my sneaky prized possessions I keep over here. You guys never really get to see this corner. There's a couple of little things chilling over here. But yeah, I have a full little... Yeah, it gets kind of busy over here. Let me just double check there's nothing with my address on it on the table. There's not. We're good. Yeah, I got some new RuneScape plushies as well. I've actually had them for a little while. I've just not put them up anywhere. I also have over here, up there, I have some new RuneScape boxes. But I also have these Protoss, Zerg, and Terran Marine, Zealot, and Zergling they're like Funkos, but they're not Funkos. They're by U2s, so it's kind of cool. This is my Pokemon champion mat because, you know, I'm a Pokemon champion, just to remind you all. Just so we all know. Tokamak going to be the opening game of this series. Let me get this hosted up. Someday, we will do a full Wardy behind-the-scenes tour. There's also, I mean, not StarCraft related, all the StarCrafty stuff's like over here, but like, I have a lot of stuff on the other side as well. Basically, there's like a line here, and behind this line, it's like mostly StarCrafty, Blizzardy stuff. And over on that side of the line, behind my screens, is like the Pokemon. Well, that's not completely true. We actually have, I need to improve the camera. It's because I don't have enough room on the USB line. It's too small. I'm like literally outstretched. Like that's as far as it goes, you see. Yeah, but there is some StarCraft over here because I got the StarCraft. I finally got these StarCraft pictures put up on the left, which are very cool. And I had the canvases up for a while, but they are also very cool and not easy to get a hold of. But yeah, those things on the left I actually had for like 4 years, 5. Well, I had them before I moved in here. So I brought them with me from my apartment. It's taken me like 4 years to put them up, even though I hadn't got them framed a while ago. But they're heckin' cool as well, to be honest. But as you might be able to see, I'm kind of out of space. Like there's nowhere to put stuff anymore, you know. Like, oh, we have some StarCraft like pillows on the couch as well. They're also kind of cool. Helen got me them as a birthday present from, I think she got them off of like just a crafts site or something. They're also kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know if you can see on the webcam, but yes, this did used to be a closet. If you, basically from where the wall sticks out and across, that used to be a wall. So everything behind that was painted in green, that used to just be a closet, and this was like a bedroom. You can still see like the joint in the ceiling, you can't really see it on the camera. But yeah, that used to be a closet, so like, there was obviously a lot of space that, like, this space was still part of this room, the bedroomy area, but that was like the closet. Kind of a big closet that you could like whack a couch in there. But I guess the wall took up some space as well. Yeah, it was kind of weird because it wasn't straight. It kind of like came across like this, then up, and then along. So like, where the couch is was actually like, there was a bit of like a corner bit of the wall. Like it was weird. Anyways, we're in game. We're in game. Let's go cast some PvT. Nerd alert. Yeah, it's my little nerd room. I like to say that this is all there is, but there's a lot of Pokemon cards around the house as well, I'm not gonna lie. The Wardy POV. Yeah, the Wardy POV is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you guys don't get the real Wardy POV where I've got the three, you guys don't see the 3 screens and the, the YouTube chat and your chat. Those are the real treasures of the display, Those are the real sights to be seen. None of this Pokemon toy nonsense. Hell yeah. See in the probe, chase about a little bit. Reaper on the way up, Orbital coming through, Cybercore in the Nexus building as well. Did I collect Magic the Gathering as well as Pokemon? No, Pokemon's the only card game I'm into. It was more that I was originally into Pokemon, and then I was like, I wonder what cards are like. I was like, I'll get into the cards a little bit, Well, that was a very bad financial decision. But I don't just collect cards, I actually play them as well. I feel like if I got into another card game, I don't have the time to actually go out and play it, which kind of, just makes it kind of pointless anyways. Like, I struggle to get to my weekly Pokemon once a week, So, yeah, I trying to pick up and play more stuff, I'm just never gonna have time to do it properly. But I'm a very all or nothing person as well. Like, I can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go to my local store and play Pokemon cards once a week. I'm like, no, I need to be really good. I need to practice. I need to figure out when all the events are. I need to try and, I can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna pop out and play this game every once a month and see how it goes. Like, no, I'm very all or nothing. Like, I'm either really into it or I'm not. So if I try to get into anything else, I would have to like step away. Like, there's just no way it's feasible. There's just no way. Have I played most of the Pokemon video games? Yeah, I mean, I skipped a few years. Okay, guys, we're going off script, so if you're annoyed that we're not talking about the StarCraft, it's Twitch chat's fault. But yeah, I played most of the Pokemon video games. There's some I skipped out. Like, I played Blue, Gold, Ruby, and Sapphire. I mean, I think I've had all of them. There's one generation I probably didn't have. Like, I probably didn't play Pearl and Diamond originally. But I did play Black and... I didn't really play much of Black and White either. But then I played like X and Y and stuff again in Sun and Moon. So there's like two Pokemon generations I kind of skipped out of. I guess they were like when I was in kind of like later high school towards me starting university and stuff. Like I was just more into like playing WoW and like PC games and stuff. So like it fell out of fashion there. And then... I fell out of fashion, and then I kind of picked it up again, like a little bit in university. Like on my 3DS, I got X and Y and Sun and Moon, and then yeah, I got really back into Pokemon with Pokemon Go. That was probably like 6 years ago now. I got really back into Pokemon, and I've been very into Pokemon ever since. Pokemon's a dangerous thing when you realize you're an adult and you're allowed to like go out and like enjoy the thing you enjoy. It's not like you don't need to convince your parents, Mom, I need the new game, or Mom, like, can I have, like, you know what I mean? This was my first thing I figured out that I enjoyed while being an adult in charge of my own life, This was my problem. We had 40 in Pogo, then stopped. Yeah, I mean, we moved house, and A, they were making the game worse and worse as well, but B, I moved house and I went from like living basically like next to like a really, well, I went from a very populated Pokemon Go area to like, we have to walk 5 minutes to get to our first stop, you know. None of the Pokemon spawn in our house or anything, so it makes a very miserable experience, because even when you go out, it's just like, wow. Like, I could go on a 40-minute walk and see less than I would see just sitting in my house for like 5 minutes in my old house, right? So, yeah. That really stopped us from trying to do any extra. And Phoenix getting the Cyclone, by the way. Nice little grab. Marine's joining up as this game. 5.5 minutes in, we really have not managed to talk about this game yet, have we? Good job. Good job, chat. This is a really good tangent. You know how to get me. Coming of age is when you realize you can in fact eat cake for breakfast. Yeah, I know. It's great, right? Talking about the game streaming's kind of cringe. Yeah, well, you know. We talk about StarCraft all the time on this channel, you know? Why shouldn't we talk about non-StarCraft every now and then? You know? Why don't we just go off script a little bit? Well, the reality is that we do. And then people go, well, actually, people haven't really complained about it too much recently. It's okay. This is another matchup in the European League here, where I think I just want to set the tone a little bit, though, before even if we go off topic, that's fine, but I think it's fair to say that we should probably bring up the fact that this is another matchup which is 1 and 2 players, right? So these players are 1 and 2. This is a matchup where you're basically, if you lose this, you don't really have playoff hopes anymore. If you win this, you do have some playoff hopes still. So yes, this is a pretty important matchup in that regard. It's an elimination match in quotation marks, because you still play round 5, but you can't advance to the playoffs if you lose this. And it's just because every round is still worth money, so you can still play one more match. But going deeper in the tournament is not going to be a thing after this one. It's Gross Papa. Always good to see you, mate. Thank you so much for the 35-month resub on the stream. We super appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a hero of StarCraft 2. And Phoenix are being heckin' annoying, but at the same time, I don't know if I hate this for Percival. Like, this is very Phoenix heavy from Night Phoenix. Do we hate this for Percival if he goes across the map right now? Yeah, I guess so. He doesn't have a lot on the ground, right? Like, 14 bio units does not get you very far. We'll see how the engagement goes. It would have been nice if he could have sniped down a couple more Phoenix like he might get to do here. Gonna find one just fresh, and the others are kind of in an odd spot. They're gonna have to turn around and get home. So we're gonna get a lock on. We're gonna get a few more shots off. That's much nicer so far here from Night Phoenix. That's from Percival. I don't know if he can just attack in, though. What are we gonna do? He's gonna pull back. He'll try and let the Widow Mines do some work. Oh, Widow Mine on the Phoenix. Would have been nice if he could have splashed a little bit. Doesn't happen, though. Medevac show up. Gonna help the bio a little bit more. One force field dropping down. It's just very tough to attack in when, obviously, the Phoenix are going to keep the Vikings at bay. The Vikings obviously want to get the Colossus, but then you kind of have to deal with the Phoenix too. Widow Mines get lifted, which is a fine use of the Widow Mines. It takes the Phoenix attention away. If the Phoenix is shutting down mines, it gives your Vikings time to shoot. Percival just needs a few more units here, and you can very realistically engage this army, I think. If he has a couple more Vikings, yep, there they are. A couple more Vikings spawning out, and he just has a couple more reinforcements in general. I like this. Every single Phoenix is now gone. He's going to kill the Immortal quickly. Oh, he doesn't get it. Kill the Immortal. Oh my god, Stalker's on the other side. Is he just bleeding out a little bit too much? He might very well be. The awkward part is he's just not quite where he wants to be to get his reinforcements. He will reposition with these units now. Vikings getting caught. The Stalkers don't have blinks. It's unfortunate that he lost one still. Just doesn't have the HP on the units, right? He's just been a little bit too bullied in by these Phoenix, and now you really need these Vikings to just show up. I think one of the big things is that Night Phoenix did a really good job of making sure the Widow Mines were actually a little bit of a wasted investment, right? Like, they were just not allowed to do all that much in the end. A couple Colossus shots firing through. Widow Mines will burrow up. We stim up the Bioforces. Ooh, the friendly fire. The Phoenix gives itself up. It was going to die to the Widow Mine anyway, but gives itself up in the process and forces the splash on the Terran units. Some of the SCVs going low, then the Colossus will feast on those low HP units. Percival is down and out of this game one. And Night Phoenix will take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. Alright, so we got ourselves Night Phoenix with a 1-0 advantage heading to a game 2. Guys, I'm going to have to run ads because apparently I just didn't run ads at some point earlier today, and so we're just a little bit shy on time, and we only have 9 minutes. I'd just rather run them now than have them pop up like if we end up in a cool like 10+ minute game. And I've already used all my snoozes because of that first game of Showtime. I think I was just like, oh, Showtime Sebestas game 1 will be fine, and it was like way longer than it was meant to be, so I was like, should have just ran them then. I didn't. I'm being punished for it now. So yeah, let's just run them ads. Run them ads. Ready, ready, ready. Everyone getting set. As we can go into game number 2. Perfect. Kick this off, guys. And get this a roll and see all you subscribers getting to see the countdown of the game. You're going to get to see the first 2 minutes of us talking about not the game. Before he just built his own streaming site and servers that stole our data and sold it, we wouldn't need ads? Yes. Exactly. Or, okay, I'll do you guys a deal. Okay? If, now here we go, this might seem crazy, but if we get 10,000 subs, okay, I'll just stop running ads. Yeah? Great. Only 9,500 to go. Let's go. We got this, guys. Maybe 10,000 a bit extra. If we genuinely had... How many subs could we stop running ads at? Realistically. If we had 2,500 to 3,000 subs consistently, I could definitely turn the ads pretty much off. I'd still run like 3 minutes an hour to like, you know... So I'd run 3 minutes an hour because it turns off pre-rolls, which I think is important, but like... That would basically, you know, just plus 2k subs. How hard is that gonna be, right, guys? Right? You know, everyone's like, ah, the ads. Well, it's like, it's this, or we, you know, it's either this, or we literally convince 2,000 more people to subscribe, which is nigh on impossible in this day and age. I think, what was our peak subscriber count? Like 2,200, 2,300, way back in like April 2020. Yeah, we broke 2k. I think we broke 2k subs twice, but it was in like the same kind of run. That COVID period. 2k subs nowadays is genuinely nigh on impossible unless we did some kind of crazy as... Hey, Kettler's God, thank you by the way, 81-month resub. Would probably be nigh on impossible without like a ridiculous amount of gifteds, you know? Maybe we'd have to get like maybe a sub... Maybe if we did a subathon, I have absolutely zero intention of doing a subathon. That does not sound fun to me. So, yeah. Yeah. Which is my favorite Pokemon game on the Switch? I preferred Sword and Shield because the raid system was better. I didn't even play the DLC for Scarlet and Violet because... So, basically, what was really fun about Sword and Shield is me and Helen spent a lot of time in Sword and Shield once we like finished the game, because we would do like the raid dens together and stuff. And we do like the bosses and like, you know, all of that stuff and the events. And we get the special Pokemon, and then they added in the Snowy Mountain DLC. I can't remember what it's called. They added like the like you fight like 4 bosses in a row, and at the end it's like a legendary. That stuff was super fun, right? That stuff was super fun. But in Scarlet and Violet, it was so much like the way the battles work made it so difficult. And basically, like, a bunch of them weren't possible. Like, straight away, we tried to do a bunch, and they weren't possible with the NPCs. And then we tried to do it online, but there was no easy way for us to do it online together without having, like, a full... Like, you either had a full group of 4, or you would, like, 2 people, and you couldn't queue together just as 2. It was dumb. It sucked hard, man. It was just so bad. Like, it was super bad. So we never even... That, like, lost all interest in it for us, and then we didn't even get the DLC. So... Yeah, I think Sword and Shield was better. Although, I mean... I didn't play Legends Arceus because I was super into, I think it was RuneScape leagues at the time, so I didn't play it, but Helen loved that. That probably would have been my favorite if I actually played more of it. So yeah. Some wardy Pokemon laws. These Adepts are dominating this. Percival just, I don't want to say dead, but like, he's in a bit of trouble. The Adepts will go down to the Cyclone, I guess. The Cyclone will play cleanup here. Obviously, Percival is playing European server from Korea, guys. This is the European League. He qualified through on the European server, so he was eligible to play. We do not region restrict anyone now, but this entire tournament is European server at European times. So while he's obviously eligible to play, he qualified. It is still tough for him. He is playing at that disadvantage. And I think that's definitely something to think on, especially when you're struggling like early game. Like when the early game is a struggle, that's always one of those things where it's like, well, that ping is coming into play. It is affecting some of the early micro when less units and stuff are in play as well. So yeah. This is definitely a rough start. He's down 12 workers, you know, 4.5 minutes deep. And he doesn't really have anything to show for it, right? Like, he can walk across the map now, and maybe there's a little bit of a chance. Marine Cyclones and a Viking, we can do something against a few Phoenix and just a couple of Adepts. Extra gates aren't ready. Robo not ready. Like, Percival, if he just goes right now, is going to give himself the best possible chance of doing something. But he has to go now and just not look back. Like, the problem is it's a long map as well, so it's going to be difficult. Reinforcements are going to get picked off by the Phoenix. So those two Marines go down, but like, I don't think you have time to turn around and chase Phoenix, man. We're going to get a lock on here that gets rid of some shields. Medevac vision is OP, jeez. Finally gets out of reach there with those Phoenix, but you need to be pressuring. Now we're warping in Stalker's Immortal about to be finished. I just don't think that this is good enough. And maybe it wouldn't have been good enough just running across anyway, but I feel like then at least you have a chance. Tank sieging, Stalkers and Adepts taking some shots. Phoenix is going to fly in. Tank is going to get whacked away at. Immortal and Stalkers hitting 2. Siege goes down. Viking going to get picked away at. Phoenix are continuing to flare up onto the medevac there, as we will see the Stalkers and the Immortal chasing those Marines down for a few moments. It's going to have the Phoenix lifting up the Cyclone. This is not good for Percival. He's losing pretty much everything off of what was already a bit of a rough opener. I think Percival might be in some very real trouble. I mean, this medevac's going to go down too. Then you can lift this Cyclone. Well, the Viking's going to get rid of the Phoenix. The tank... okay, it got a little bit weird. I guess Percival will trade out nicely, but then the Stalkers show up and that will be the end of it. The Viking and Cyclone have to go running. Percival made more of that than I thought. Yeah, that was a fun little fight between the two. Tank siege is up, and I think Percival should be safe for the moment. The Stalkers turn around for the Viking. Loses one Stalker, unfortunately. Twilight Council and Forge both building up. The Nexus coming through. The Phoenix on the way in. And that Engineering Bay and attack upgrade coming up as well. Just going to be seeing the Siege Tank about to finish up. The extra barracks coming about. Army still going toward the upper left-hand side. So we move on through. The CC is on its way in. The Vikings are building up. The SCVs are coming about. And those Phoenix still just patrolling around a little bit for a few moments. Marines and Vikings shooting the Phoenix are going to be taking damage as well. Marines firing back. Stalkers and the Immortal still fighting against those Marines. You're not going to see the Marines lifted up. Phoenix will continue to get some grabs. Again, Stalkers, Immortals gathering together for now. Stim pack and +1 coming up as well. We got the charge and the +1 on the other side. This is not looking very for Percival. Honestly, from the start of this game, it's just been kind of rough for Percival. And I think it's kind of continuing here. No easy way out right now as the Phoenix dive through. Going to grab a Siege Tank. One Phoenix goes down, tank falls. Few SCVs and the Marines get pulled in. Viking going to get jumped on. Now the other couple of Vikings coming back around as well. Immortal Stalk from the sentry. A few SCVs going down. And that's 9 workers killed for the moment. I mean, what do you do about this, right? The Phoenix is going to protect the Prism. And so the Warping comes through and you got 2 Immortals that are just slamming at the front. Yo, the Widow Mines do get rid of the Phoenix. I guess that's what you do about it. So the Phoenix die. It's just to have 2 Immortals and 4 Stalkers that are just picking through your depots and obviously just threatening the front here. SCVs will pull into this to try and play defense. We knock down the Viking. Couple Widow Mines will burrow up on top. Phoenix is going to just actually force some friendly fire again. We do lose the Prism, however. Force fields a few units in. Still no stim, still no combat shield. These units are about to be so much better, but I mean, Marauders are getting murdered by the Immortals. Obviously, at this point, even if you clean up his Percival, the damage is truly done. The SCV's gone down. You killed a lot of army here as Night Phoenix. At this stage, obviously, you're warping him back at home. You're taking a 4th base. This game really has been all about Night Phoenix from the early minutes. And Percival is going to find himself more or less eliminated from the European League. Obviously, he will be 1-3, unable to advance to the playoffs from here. We'll still get to play round 5 for some prize money, but yeah, gonna be tough. The stim helps, right? Don't get me wrong, there's not like a lot of units here that are great against stim bio. But the 77 to 36 workers should pretty much be all we need to know. That's okay, Zealots are definitely going to be a lot better because they're very clunky and chunky. And a small amount of bio is not going to be able to do that much of it. There's a little charge on through. We dive in, and again, Bion's taking hits. Prism just warping straight into the fight. Don't think there's any denying this as Percival runs to the main and gets overrun. And Zod's gonna get the GG's. Night Phoenix gonna keep himself running. GG. Alrighty, we are going to hop over to our next matchup. What did I say it was? I said it was more was it more PvP right now? Cristiana, Scarlet, no, that's in half an hour. Ah yeah, Shameless Nikaract, it's PvT. This is actually a cool one because Shameless and Nikaract, the winner, will be at 3-1. So this is a really cool matchup because the winner of Shameless and Nikaract, Shameless beat Scarlet last time out, Nikaract took down Percival. So the winner of this goes 3-1 and is then going to be advancing through to, again, playoff position with a chance to even improve on their scoreline before we get there. So that's awesome. These guys already viewed it as well, so everyone's going to join us. Perfect. For Breezy007, thank you so much for the 10-month resub. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Listen to Caster, invite them in. Percival BM, no GG. Yeah, he's the villain of the StarCraft 2 scene right now. Refuses to GG against the Protoss players. I respect it, you know? He stands by his belief. I respect it. If he wants to be the villain, he can be the villain. Go wild, Percival. Be the no GG'er of 2025. Alright, Leyline's coming up as Nikaract and Shameless load into a huge matchup for them. Because, I mean, look at it this way. If you lose this, your 2-2 matchup could be Showtime. It could be Mana or Goblin. You know what you see where I'm getting at? It could be Uthermal or Bion, right? Like, there's a lot of players. Like, it could even be Max Packs if Skillers beats Max Packs, right? Like, there's a lot of difficulty coming in when this tournament gets to the 2-2 stage. So winning now and pretty much saying, hey, I'm going to the playoffs, that's going to take a lot of pressure and a lot of potential just randomness of who you play next away from you. So this TVP has a lot on the line. As yeah, nice to talk about players that will be cementing themselves as a playoff spot, rather than players who will be eliminated from having a chance at playoffs. I mean, that's the downside of Swiss, is some players are going to, you know, be playing with their hopes dashed, and some players will be playing matches with their hopes getting buffeted, which is lovely. Game 1 of this best of 3. Is this on live? Yes, this is live. The best way to figure out if something is live is if it's on our stream, you should just assume it's live. Because if it's not live, we'll probably tell you. Or it'll be in the title of the stream. I always love reading the Reddit threads where everyone tells, you know, this doesn't happen as much anymore, but there was a period where people were like, man, I love Wardy's stream, it's just a shame he's always casting replays. And I'm like, what? I'm literally never casting replays. Like, obviously, a couple of tournaments, you know, you cast replays, and, you know, sometimes, you know, there's no live events, so you cast replays of another event that happened, but, like, people going on like the only thing we're doing was casting replays. I'm like, I'm not, yeah, organizing fresh tournaments so we don't have to cast replays. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Our StarCraft is a wild place. In the last week, I've seen multiple posts about a certain topic, and some on one side of this topic get heavily upvoted and loved, and then some on the same side and the exact same thing get heavily downvoted and hated on. It's incredible. It's almost like it depends what time of day you make your post at. And either side of the debate is either going to get loved upon or hated upon, depending on specific, like, I guess just like very mildly how you phrase it, but like when you post it, like, it's crazy. It's like they're just taking it in turns for like to be angry about this point of view and then be happy about this point of view. It's funny. I cast replays for the later half of the bracket. That's true when we do. That's usually when we cast replays in my tournaments. It's to help the players out, right? So when we have like 5-player groups, we get 10 best of 3s. But instead of making the players cast, you know, play 10 best of 3s without being able to leave, they have to play. They play 5 best of 3s and then they're done. So it halves the player time of the day, which makes it a very reasonable amount of time. They're here for like 3 hours or so, then they're done, and we get a 6-hour stream, which is way better than casting 6 best of 3s and getting a 3-hour stream, right? So yeah, sometimes I do cast, you know, in that regard, I do cast replays. But I honestly, when I cast replays like that, I personally call it live because the replays from early in the day and no one's seen the games, right? Like sometimes maybe someone else streams it, or the players stream their point of view, sure, but like, to me, that's not the same as casting replays what these other guys are talking about, which is like, their replays are, you know, they talk about replays though I'm casting games that are like a week old or something, you know? Which is really just not true. That's just the internet in a nutshell. Yeah, I guess that is the case. My favorite part is reading the comments and everyone's an expert as well. Did you guys know that actually 90% of the Reddit community on our StarCraft actually used to run StarCraft tournaments and they know exactly what it takes to run them? It's actually incredible. It's so funny. They know exactly what it takes to run a tournament in 2025 because they ran something once upon a, like, it's crazy. They're literally saying, trust me, bro, I have my credentials, which is me stating the fact. I'm gonna start going to the League of Legends subreddit and being like, guys, look, I get it. I understand what you need to run a league tournament, you know? Oh, it's so funny. You can confidently say I have never ever run a tourney of any kind. You can run a StarCraft 2 tourney. To be fair, StarCraft tournaments are some of the easiest tournaments to run. Because StarCraft players are very... especially if you run a tournament with pros, it's very easy to run because all the pros are very well understanding of tournament etiquette. If something comes up and is an issue, they typically sort it out themselves. Like, everyone's an expert at playing in tournaments at this point in time, you know? Yeah, running SE2 tournaments is, the hardest part of running SE2 tournaments is other people also trying to run SE2 tournaments. That's my experience. That's my experience. I have less issues from players as I do from other organizers who are just like, who just don't think about other tournament schedules or anything. How often do you guys hear me complaining about a player not showing up? It happens, right? Usually they have a good reason. Versus, like, how often I complain about, oh, these guys just announced a qualifier or a tournament on the exact same day as my tournament that's been announced for 3 weeks. And it's not just any given group day, it's my freaking playoff day, you know? Ay, ay, ay. Crazy. Stalkers get pushed back. Marines and tanks pushing through. Banshee. showing up. A couple probes are going to get pushed away as well. A couple tank shots. Going to get some shots off also. As big push from Nikaract here to get going. He's going to get quite a bit of damage done. I mean, loses the tank now. Second tank is going to get taken out as well. How many Stalkers we kill here? There's a couple on low HP that would have been nice just to get rid of. Observer showing up, and the Banshee's out of energy anyway. We scan for the Observer. It's a nice catch. Little bonus for Nikaract. And hey, Shameless has no third base up, so as Nikaract looks at this, this is a success, right? You know, this is a scenario where the third base is not up and running. He killed a good few Stalkers, resources lost. Very in your favor, and Nikaract put himself in a great position here early. He's very good at these early game pushes. You know, to me, Nikaract's strength is in the first 10 minutes of the game. And while he can play some longer games, I think his best chance really is in the first 10 minutes. And off of a start like this, I have full faith that Nikaract will find some follow-up that's going to be very punishing for the Protoss player as well. So we'll see if Shameless can dig himself out of this hole, or if Nikaract can capitalize and put the dirt on top and bury Shameless inside of it, because I do think Shameless now is going to be in a bit of a tough spot. Obviously, Colossus starting to come out, Thermal Lance on the way, getting that third base back on track, but the Bio Army's about to be on the map with Stim, Combat, and +1, and there's going to be a lot of it, realistically, in the next few moments. Can you say something that would be nice specifically this tournament? Have displayed their score in the tourney? Yeah, it would be nice. I'm just lazy. But yeah, it would actually be nice to like throw it down the bottom. I'm just lazy, and it would take a bit of effort. Which I could probably do, as that was not the fight for Nikaract, by the way, letting those Colossus just do that thing. I think my problem is my solution to put that on screen would just look very janky. And so I'd rather just let the screen look good because we have a nice UI otherwise, right? And I'll just be like, I'll just try and do a good job of mentioning that these guys are 2-1, you know? But yeah. Anyway, if we had some like actual graphics specifically for European League, I think that's the kind of thing that would be very nice. Bio pushing. So Nikaract, I mean, definitely not a terrible trade because he still maintains the resource loss difference. But those two Colossus are a problem, and I don't know if he has really a good way to deal with this right now. Nice blink does avoid the Stalker being killed by the mine. Obviously, it's still splashed into the rest of the units, but the splash is much less deadly than the actual initial Widow Mine shot, so definitely a big factor. As the Ghost Academy starts up from Nikaract, a couple more Vikings. I will say it as it is. I think Shameless did a good job of hanging on in here. He's not given Nikaract an opening with that Bioforce. Maybe Nikaract could have been more interesting with this Bio Army, to be fair. Like, he just attacked the third with the Colossus in position and a battery in location as well, right? Maybe this is a scenario where a little drop, peeling off to the main base or so, could have been kind of nice. Try and force your opponent to move their units around, especially in a scenario where your opponent has lost a lot early. That's typically when the Protoss players struggle to move their units around because they don't have as many units, right? So I think that could have been maybe a little way to look at this and approach this differently. Bio will begin to move forward once more. Disruptor, +1 attack, coming up. Robot Facility, Forge, Nexus, coming online as well. I mean, this attack has a lot more hope in it because you've got some Vikings out to deal with these Colossus. But be super careful that first Disruptor. It does fire from close, but we have Stim, so we can mostly move away. Obviously, Stalker's got a few chances to get rid of some of the Vikings there. Now the Vikings will work their way through the Colossus. I don't think the Stalkers are doing well at all, but honestly, the Terran Army's not doing great either. The Terran Army's kind of there, just standing there, letting the Colossus deal the damage. Oh, this is a wild fight. We kind of just, like, face tank the Colossus. The Banshee gets in for a bunch of probes, at least. That part is great. I think if you just kite back, I mean, if you kite back, maybe then the Vikings are more exposed, but there's no target fire on the Vikings at all there, so at least make him start hitting the Vikings instead, and then let the Bio re-engage forward, maybe. Because the whole point is, like, get rid of the Colossus, but if you get rid of the Colossus and there's no Bio left, then what did you get rid of the Colossus for? More Disruptors coming out as well, so we're not replacing the Colossus count. We're going to continue to go Disruptor heavy now as Shameless. It's very good for defensive zoning, but what he will find is that it's going to be much tougher for, you know, getting out onto the map, so that will be one problem. This Banshee comes back in as well. Oh, nice EMP to start this off. Disruptor number 1 goes down, target fired. Colossus low as well. Should go down easily. Banshee again sitting in a corner there. Love the Banshees coming back in later in this game and just coming in as Nikaract is setting up other aggression, right? So making the most of those units. Fights away here. Storm is going to blink, looking to deny the medevac count a little bit. You can do this because the Zealots are very tanky and the Terran has to prioritize those Zealots, otherwise they get eaten up by them. Ooh, scary getaway. We do lose a Viking or two, but I was going to say we did knock all the Colossus down, but this is the moment where Shameless decides, hey, I've killed some Vikings. It's time for me to actually rebuild my my Colossus count, especially as he gets these extra 2. And he's got double Robo, which really puts that back in play. Man, he is just bleeding probes all these Banshees. Hold positioning as well, so they're not flying into the cannons and just forcing units to actually come in to deal with them. So freaking nice. And he did a great job of just finding the exact hold position to deny a couple of the mineral lines. So unless you're continuously manually stopping the probes from mining, you will just naturally get probes as they wander back into range. That was a great job with that Banshee play. It was definitely a little bit more complex than just, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, fly the Banshee in the mineral line and we'll let it do its thing. Like, he positioned that very well. That's very nicely done. As the Observer here does see what's up. EMPs come down. This is not a commitment in my eyes, but he did dodge most of the Disruptors already. That's most of the Disruptors on cooldown, so maybe it wasn't so bad. 3 Disruptors firing at once was definitely a little bit of a scary mistake, I think, from Shameless. But with the new Colossus showing up, I don't think Nikaract can attack in to take advantage of this, and Shameless is going to turn Nikaract away. And Nikaract is just going to turn tail and run out of here. Which I think is the right call. He needs some new Vikings up to deal with the Colossus. This Banshee going to do the same as before. Just find a little position and just hit down a few workers. And again, there's no battery, just a cannon. Battery would have been the better response, no, because then, well, I guess the cannon's also providing detection. Uh-oh, scary moment for Nikaract. Planetary not done. Oh, he's going to lose this base. This is why the Disruptors are so good. If you let the Pros get in position, then they're essentially defending the position, right? That's an aggressive position. And Nikaract loses his 4th. That puts the pressure on him in a big way, because now, you know, he was set up to kind of let this game carry on. He was in a good eco position. But this is going to fall apart a little bit. As, yeah, Shameless, he had a rough start. Ever since then, he's been doing absolutely fantastically. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Disruptors continue to move through. Shadow Stride coming up to see the +2 armor upgrade coming in, +3 attack, Nexus, Gateways, Zealots, Probes, all continue to build as well, so bringing all of this online. Disruptors still moving across as the Bion army gathers here from Nikaract. Sets up, heading down to the bottom. Gonna stim in. I mean, honestly, if you get some good EMPs here, the Vikings still in good numbers will get rid of the Colossus pretty quickly. The Disruptors are the biggest issue. Again, attacking into Disruptors is a major challenge. I like that Nikaract stims a few units down this ramp. Force the Protoss to attack into you, right? Force his units to come towards your units for a change, because that really does make the Disruptors so much worse. Man, these Colossus still alive somehow as well. The Vikings should be able to still get rid of those, though. And this Terran army's kind of scary if the Disruptors aren't flying at you. Yeah, there we go. One Disruptor buys you a couple of moments. It's just scary because obviously we do potentially have just the chance to jump on the Disruptors as well. The DTs come at a great time. It's going to distract Nikaract just when he was trying to actually maybe break through to that army. Like, Disruptors on cooldown. I actually felt like he had enough bio to challenge here. Now he's going to have to deal with these DTs, and taking that time is going to stop him from continuing the aggression forward. So that is going to slow him down as we get in the main base. Saves the engineering bay. +3 attack will not be denied. Talking about upgrades, it is equal upgrades right now. It will be an armor upgrade eventually here from Nikaract when the +3 upgrades finish. That will be about it. Another scan, another catch. Oh no! The Disruptor shot is big! It's the sort of Disruptor shot at the very least nowadays you can step away from and let the medevacs heal up from at least, though, right? So you don't get... That's the sort of Disruptor shot that would have been devastating in the past because everything would have died. Nowadays, the DTs, the Marauders get to live. And what's huge about that is it just... Like I say, it means that unless the Protoss is there ready in a position to follow up to this, you don't just get away with kind of free damage because one Disruptor shot lands out of nowhere. As I actually think our issue right now is, ooh, playing with fire with the Disruptors. We did target fire one down. I think the issue right now is that coming in from 2 angles was a great idea from Nikaract. He didn't have much on the top, but he is going to close the distance. He needs to get rid of that Disruptor. He eats the shot. GG gets called. He desperately went in. He knew he'd taken a lot of damage off the DTs, but Shameless has dragged this game back into his favor and gets the win on it. Nikaract was such a great opener, and just no capitalization from that point on, unfortunately, is going to land us into a 1-0 deficit for himself. Guys, I'm going to run ads because the players need a 2-minute break. So I'll run ads now while we have a natural bit of downtime, no matter what. And then we'll get into Game 2 on torches as soon as our players are ready. How many scans are worth 1 Raven? That's a question that doesn't really compare, right? Because scans at some point become an excess resource essentially for the Terrans, because you don't need to mule up necessarily, but obviously scanning early game has a much bigger impact on your income because you're much more reliant on the mules when you're on lower SCV counts. So yeah, there's not really an easy way to state that. The problem with the Raven usually is that a Raven is not great. Like, okay, it depends where you're scanning as well, but say like DTs run into your bases, the Raven isn't going to help you unless your Raven is there with your army at the front and catches the DTs trying to run in. If the DTs run in and the Raven's out on the map with your army and you're also moving about, well, there's no point really leaving the Raven just at home. It has to have units with it, otherwise you may as well just have missile turrets, right? So we're talking about observers? It's a fair point. Observers do give good vision. It's definitely a benefit of having the Raven. Obviously in this game he was just going into the Banshees though, and then it's really difficult because the Raven does not build quickly, and in this game he built the Banshees. Then he had to go into Vikings and Medivacs because there was Colossus coming up. So having the Raven doesn't matter that much if you then can't fight the army anyway, because like clearing the observers would be great, but clearing the observers when you have no right to be on the map because you have zero way to deal with the army, you know what I mean? It's kind of tough. So yeah, I mean, the problem as well is the deeper it goes. Like in this game, there was no template, but also usually if you're using the Raven in that scenario, like it gets feedbacked, it's easily sniped. It's not an easy unit to keep alive. In an ideal world, if you can always keep it safe and keep it around, I think a Raven's obviously great to have, but that's tough. And it just eats up supply that you'd probably rather have in more fighting units. At the end of the day, like if you realize he's seen where you're coming from, scan for the observers, right? So we had this discussion about Matrixing with a Raven yesterday as well, and I was like, man, we really don't, like, someone pointed out that maybe we should do it again. I'm really not convinced. You know what is so funny is I have so many memories of like the Raven interference matrixing, like 2 Colossus, the Terran stimming in, and it just didn't matter that he made exposed Colossus. And so I have this very anti-Raven kind of anti-Matrix kind of view in TVP where I'm like, man, like this spell just does not live up to the hype. Like there's been times where the Matrix was huge, but like there's been I have so many memories of just Matrix, you're like, this is insane, he's got the Matrixes, it's so broken, and then just nothing comes of it, you know? It's kind of funny. Alright, heading into game 2. Shameless is up a game looking to punch in his ticket to the playoffs, as he will be up 1 game. In the bottom right corner of the map, our red Protoss player, Shameless. In the top right, the blue Terran is going to be Nikaract. Game number 2 of this TVP. Nikaract really did get off to a hot start, but just could not follow up, unfortunately. Open up to the top right hand side. Look to see what's going on. Barracks, SCV coming through. Gateway and the assimilator coming up. Open ahead into the main base. The barracks again dropping on through. SCV building. Another SCV pulls forward. Just keep the barracks build-up coming in for now. SCV nibbles the probie. A little bit of work being done. Nothing too crazy just yet. Factory drops down. Again, the Reaper gonna finish very shortly. Just have that CC building through Cybercore, Nexus, building on the side of Shameless. Simulator and the pylon coming up as well. And Stalker will begin to Chrono Boost. Will Nikaract find another early game opener? Shoots. Maybe gets pushed away. We just have ourselves the warp gate continue to build here. Stargate coming online again. The couple of probes and the adept coming up as well. Hellions starport coming online as we just have. Yes, the chance with a couple of Hellions. We can maybe see the 4 Widow Mines after this. 2 Hellions, 4 Mines. A very common way to try and get something done. Tech Lab on the barracks though. It's going to give the starport opportunity to jump onto that, so maybe we do not go into the non-tech lab starport unit. Phoenix off the Stargate from Shameless, just the fact that the Stargate in general is interesting. Let's see what we do. If this is a Raven, obviously the Phoenix is going to love it, something they can deny very easily. What if it's a medevac and we fake cloak? Or what if it's just medevac cloak and then we actually get Banshees after? Okay. I was just thinking because we're genuinely going up to 4 Hellions, but we actually are just going to go straight Banshee cloak right now. And I imagine the factory is going to flow over to the next tech lab, and the barracks can go to the reactor. So there's a lot of flying around with your structures, but 4 Hellions can approach the front and try their luck to try and get some damage done early on here. Run straight on up. First Adept takes a few shots, damage being done. Reaper will go down. A couple Phoenix fly in as well. Just going to get a lift on one of these Hellions. The other couple of Hellions coming through as well. 2 probes being picked away at. And that is going to be a big deal. As see the Phoenix continue to move back around. It's going to be seeing the Cyclone, the Banshee coming up, extra Marines coming over. Cloaking is about to complete. Phoenix join up. Mortal on the way, Robo Bay building. A couple of barracks going to swap on over to the tech labs here. For a moment or two. These go down. The Cyclone just going to lock onto the Phoenix again, push that back the other way. Sim Combat +1 all coming up. Just going to have a scan down once more. Observer still popping out in a few moments. Gates in the Robo Bay coming up as well. Bring this over for a little bit. And those 4 SCVs going down. Stimpack Combat Shield and +1 again, still building up. Marine Marauder Viking on the way in. Phoenix still just, again, middle of the map, figuring out what it is they would like to do. Observer flying about also. And the Phoenix is going to get over to that right-hand side, so over to the right, get going. Extended thermal lens starting up. The Colossus on the way in. And Twilight Council and Forge both building into play. The thermal lens continues through. Battery coming up. Phoenix back over that right-hand side into the space between the natural and third base. And a couple of Vikings already getting busy onto those Phoenix. So damage being done right off the bat. Still got Stim Pack, Concussive Shells, and the +1. About to finish as well. Again, the couple Banshees continue to slide in overhead for a few more moments. Marine's nibbling at that hallucination as we scan once more. Ooh, saw the other observer, right? So he wants to get that, but obviously it's already moved away. It's a lot of Phoenix. It's very interesting. Phoenix Colossus against these sort of pushes should honestly be pretty decent. I mean, the Viking count is good, but it's so many Phoenix, right? I think that's the issue. It's the Banshees peeled away. They're going to go to the main. You are keeping the Phoenix here. I mean, surely as Shameless, you should kind of recognize, hey, where the hell did the Banshees go? You had the observer spotting this. So I feel like that's a little bit of a move he maybe should have been able to see coming a little bit better. As the 6 workers, 7 workers go down. Banshees begin to make their getaway as well. Phoenix a little bit too fast for the Observer to keep up with, so... Oh, we're actually going to come back in with the Banshees, so they're just going to go for more. The Observer is going to show up, so the Banshees will die. As, try and make our getaway. We will lose both, though. Coming back in was a mistake. I don't think losing both Banshees for 2 extra probes is really worth it there. Because they were long gone as well. Like, they were out of there. They were not being caught, so... Missed opportunity. Cyclone locks on. Step goes down. Just going to shoot a few Phoenix again. Marines are going to stim. The Phoenix getting bullied a little bit. Zealots do not have charge for 8 more seconds, so we're kind of taking a fight at the wrong time here with Shameless. Is it going to matter? Charge finishes with 3 Zealots remaining. There's just no way to get rid of these Colossus. I mean, the Phoenix are just tanking up the Viking shots. And the Bio army is just low HP and not doing enough at all. Looks as though that is going to be G's on the table, I think, for Nikaract, who's kind of committed on the 2 base. He does have a 3rd orbital morphing in right now, but, I mean, this is bad because you're going to have that medevac in trouble. Phoenix are going to target it. 3/4 of the medevac dies. Yeah, I mean... Really much else to do there. Shameless 2-0 is gonna knock his name into playoff contention. Very nicely done by Shameless. It was a good win from him. Pulled it back in game 1. Was very secure about how he played in this game 2. GG's. Very nicely done. GG's. All right, up next, guys, should be Bion. Wait, no. Cristiana versus Scarlet, that's the one. Perfect. I thought it was Bion Uthermal, but Bion Uthermal is going to come after Cristiana Scarlet. And this is rough. Cristiana and Scarlet at 1 and 2. One of these players will lose their playoff potential. The other will gain a chance to fight for it in round 5. So, it's going to be another just brutal matchup as we enter the second half of today's games. Pretty easy. Have we discussed the EWC bracket? I have not, no. But I don't feel like you guys need me to discuss it because I feel like literally everybody else has already discussed it. Unless you guys feel differently. But I personally, just by skipping through streams trying to find something to watch, have already heard 4 people's thoughts on this bracket. So I don't know if you guys need my specific thoughts on this. I will share them if you feel it's necessary. You're interested on my take. Okay then. EWC bracket. While we wait for Scarlet to log in and some videos to be done. Alright, Estrella vs Bion, Lambo vs Heromarine. I think Lambo or Heromarine beats Estrella in the top. It's rough. I feel like Bion loses to Estrella. It pains me to say that. I really want Bion not to lose to Estrella. I love Bion. I kind of feel like it's tough because I feel like if Bion loses to Estrella, he meets him again in the lower qualifying match. But I feel like if Bion beats Estrella, like to me, Bion beats everyone here apart from Estrella is the tougher matchup. So playing Estrella first is really difficult. No. Well, okay, how about, if we talk about the rest of it, I think Clem is a hefty favorite on his section of the bracket to make top 8. I think Zaun, Sola, I honestly think Sola, Zaun's very interesting, and obviously I think Clem's got a good chance against both. I think he'd struggle more with Zaun, but Sola could beat Clem too, so it's not easy. I mean, that section to me seems very fair. One of them gets a chance to probably play Clem. Shin Raynor, I love that that's a ZVZ opening. That's Shin's smiling. Like, if he's going to draw someone difficult, like, Reynor's the guy to draw, you know? Very beatable in ZVZ, I feel like. Trigger Maru just sucks for Trigger. Maru, a bit of a wild card whenever he's playing against the top of the top still in my eyes. We just don't know enough about him. He won Dallas, but I don't even know if he should have won Dallas, you know? But then, like, he just... I feel like the whole point of not seeing Maru since Dallas is basically that he's going to come in here and absolutely smash people, so... Like, this tournament format's amazing for Maru. Like, he has to play basically no games. So, I think Maru's going to do okay. So, I think out of Group A, we get Clem. I think we get Clem, Maru, winner bracket, and then Shin... I actually honestly think Shin... I mean, I think it goes to say Rain or Shin come out of the lower bracket. I actually feel... I'm feeling Shin for some reason. I'm not sure why. Would be cool. On the other side, Hero Lancer. I don't think Lancer is going to stand up to anyone in this bracket. Hero Showtime is very interesting, but I think Hero just has the edge, and I'm not sure Showtime will be able to take him on in like a best of 5. Actually, that's a best of 3, no? Showtime could win that, actually. And then honestly, Showtime could beat Hero in a best of 5 PvP too. That section's very difficult. Like, it's really tough because I actually think the fact that the first round's best of 3 makes it really, really tough, no? You don't think Bion will lose to Estrella? Yeah, maybe not. Sorry, I haven't been reading chat because I've just been looking at the bracket. Classic Rogue. Sorry, I'll bring the bracket up if you guys actually want to see it as well. Sorry, I'm doing this in the worst way possible because I was trying to get the video started. So yeah, basically these 4, Estrella, Bion, Lambo, Heromarine, play this 4-player play-in, and then the top 2 advance to here and here. Honestly, I think Classic's gonna love his section. Like, Cyril's scary, yes, but Classic's playing great at the moment. Like, to me, this Group B is Classic, Cyril. Like, if Classic and Cyril were on different sides of the bracket, they come out. I don't know if I love how Hero's playing, but also Hero has stepped it up last year at EWC just for EWC. If he does that again, then he's an obvious choice too. Honestly, do you think Showtime can do well? Rogue will beat Classic 100%. I think Rogue's going to get ruffle stomped by Classic. It's not even going to be close. I think there's just no way. Like, Rogue's been getting better, but the reality is his ZVP kind of is low-key not great. And I just don't even think the trickery he comes up with is going to bother Classic, because Classic's just going to go in knowing that Rogue has to trick him. So I think Classic just plays very solid, and he's just going to absolutely destroy him. I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Rogue can win. Like, Rogue plays those series where everything unravels. But I think if everything goes as it should, like Classic, like, it shouldn't even look close, you know? Especially with preparation time. So, yeah. But we'll see. Rogue's obviously taking it very seriously. He stopped playing in everything. Like, Rogue stopped playing ever since he came out of GSL, he didn't play in anything, right? Like, Rogue's obviously, like, mega prepping privately and secretly, so I do think he comes in with danger, but I think Classic is, like, the worst player he could have drawn. I think when it comes to it, Classic is not going to be susceptible to early game shenanigans. I think Rogue drawing Hero would have been a better match for Rogue, for example. But we'll see. Honestly, it's pretty cool. When does it start next week? Yep, 1 week today. This time next week we'll be casting. Crazy. Tokamak for map 1 of Cristiana versus Scarlet. Thank you for what you do, Wardy. No worries. Thank you so much for being a subscriber and supporting it. Super appreciate it. Thank you. Believe it or not, StarCraft 2 tournaments cost money to run, and we need money to keep running them. So if you do enjoy what you're seeing here today, if you're enjoying the stream, do consider supporting. You can follow, like, subscribe, you can Twitch Prime, you can donate, you can do a million different things to support. Even if it's just watching the ads between the games, it goes a long way as well. We super appreciate it. Do consider, like I say, supporting, because without you guys, the WardiTV tournaments would come to a halt. And wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that really suck? Maybe. What do you guys think would happen? I think this time, sometimes. What do you guys think would happen if I just stopped running tournaments? Now, let me tell you why I think this sometimes. It's not because I actually think my tournaments are super important to StarCraft. But a lot of people really feel like they are. But I don't know if anything would actually change. I genuinely wonder this, like if it would have any meaningful impact on the scene. I honestly don't know if it would. I'm doing a great job of telling you guys why you should support the stream, aren't I? Support, guys, but if you don't, it probably won't make much difference. Yo, what's up, Paul Wilson? You love that they have a Tuesday or Friday schedule starting evening. Starting every day at noon European time. Yeah, I mean, it's a little sucky. A lot of people... Weekend viewership in StarCraft is a big thing, so I actually think they're going to lose out on a lot of viewership, honestly. So yeah, I actually think they're going to lose a lot of viewership, so... What's up, Scaffler? Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs! Going out to Glenn Knorr, Jeremy, Alexander Kolobov, WT Saka, Kali87, DCSE2, Little Shiva, Shy Guy SC, Angel MRO1, and Inuit. Thank you so much, Scaffler, for the generosity of 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Danke für das Geschenkebuch, says Kali. There you go. Sehr gut. Vielen Dank. I don't know why I'm trying to add additional German into this. Alright, guys. Thank you so much, Gaffler. Appreciate the support as always, man. I know you keep coming in and dropping a bunch of subs lately. Thank you so much. In the bottom left, Scarlet. In the top right, Cristiana. Game number 1 of this best of 3. As we get this underway. There would be far less high-level StarCraft to watch, which would be a loss for viewers. But do you think it would significantly impact anything, though? Like, there might be, like... Does that not just create space for somebody else to run tournaments? Like, if I don't run tournaments, does someone else not just, like, take advantage of the time that I don't run tournaments in instead? I don't know. That's why it's an interesting question. I find myself... It's one of these weird things that, you know, like, have... It doesn't really matter what the outcome is. It's just, like, a fun theorizing. So, yeah. What's the pros of the 15 oversupply hatch versus 16 hatch gas pool? 16 hatch 18 gas pool. You should probably ask Lambo. He will probably tell you it better than me. I'm pretty sure it's just more efficient economy-wise is what they came up with in the end. I think the economy just works out better. Is that the thing that they were doing wrong for so long? Not overlord tricking, and they should have been overlord tricking this entire time, and it's actually better? I think the community's kept the interest alive and new viewers over time. That's true. Dev's gonna step forward. Queen gonna be there. Already, that's happened before though, for some people here, but it took a while, and I do believe some people never came back to watch. Just stay around. Ling's gonna go and jump onto the Adept. I'm pretty sure the Overlord trick to build the hatch is... I think there's also something to do with the cost of the hatchery changing a little bit as well. But I think nowadays it's just more economical to do it like this. This is one of those nitty-gritty details that I've heard someone explain to me, and I clearly just do not care because I've heard the explanation of this like 4 or 5 times, and clearly it's just, my brain is just like, that's nice for the Zergs, you know? like, lovely for them. I do not care. That's not the sort of thing I'm going to mention. It's not the sort of way that I cast. Just eat that information right out of my brain. It's so funny, right? Like, I know for a fact that this is something I've 100% heard, taken note of in my head, and my brain has just said that that is not important enough to give 2 craps about, enough to retain it, so whatever. It's one of those minor details where it's like, when the pros cast and stuff, it's like, it's really cool to hear, but does it really, like, this is the thing, right? Because like, there's like 1% of the viewer base that actually plays the game still, will take that and be like, cool, that's really cool, you know? And the other 99% will just not care less that you've said it. You could have talked about anything, and it probably would have been just as entertainment or as fun for them, you know? Which is why it's very cool to hear the pros cast every now and then, because you get all these tidbits of info, and you can, you know, they sound very smart and stuff. And the joys for me in casting is that I don't have to know all of this anymore, because people actually don't care about all the tidbits. It's, maybe 1% is a harsh extreme of it, but I do think it's a surprisingly low amount compared to what you think, as these drones get caught in the stasis. It's not been a big game for Scarlet. She's lost herself 3 drones, 4 Lings to the first Adepts. Now Adepts in the natural. Queen here trying to fight. Lings are going to have to pop out to try and help as well. I mean, Queen's just running over. We're losing more drones. Obviously, the drones in the main are stasis as well. And this is going to be a problem as... No! They were so safe in the stasis, and it expires as the Adepts show up. This is a horrible early game for Scarlet. He's just going to mass drone her way out of this and just try to recuperate by just replenishing what was lost. At this point, you can't really do much else, right? She's just continuing. The problem is, like, she's still losing drones because she still has no way to deal with the Adepts. Actually going to lose the Spore as well, which obviously gives the Oracles a chance to come back into the main and fight as well. Just one more Adept going down at least, and positioning is just so good. I mean, she's done nothing but build drones for a little while, at least, like I say. At least she's not building like 30 Lings to deal with these few Adepts, and then she's got Lings that can't do anything on the map. The downside is that she probably could have done with a couple more Zerglings, I guess, at the end of the day. Queen's gonna fight, Oracles get pushed away, 18 drones going down. Crazy. Oracle escaping out of there, a couple of Archons moving about, the Zealots will join up, we got the 3 extra Roaches plus 1 missiles, Infestation Pit still building through, 8 additional Overlords coming up on the side of Scarlet, who, it's not being pretty, right? Like, there's going to be a point here where Cristiana may try and attack and see how much did that damage really get for me. I mean, at the end of the day, he's killed 21 drones, and the only saving grace of Scarlet is that she really continued to not have enough units to deal with it, which meant that she was at least replenishing those drones fairly quickly. But there was also a bunch of lost mining time. And how many Adepts did this cost Cristiana? 7? I dare say that... Oh, she's going Swarm Host. Ooh, does that give us any hope of defending this? I really don't think so. The problem is the Locusts just die too quickly, and honestly, Cristiana can just run away from the first Locust wave and then attack with like 20 to 30 seconds before the Locusts are ready to go again, you know? Like, that's the real problem here, is that I honestly, I don't even think he has to run away. I actually think he can just attack into this. Like, the Archons are going to melt the Locusts. The Locusts try for the Archons. They don't get a single one, and that just means you don't have enough in this as Scarlet. That's going to be too much Cristiana as he looks to take the 1-0 lead in this 1-2 matchup. Again, both these players on the verge of being knocked out of playoff contention in the European League Swiss group stage. Archon's continuing to go to work. The Roach is getting pushed away. The Swarm Host are 2 popping around. I mean, they'll have, you know, the ability to fire again shortly, but The problem is as well is that these Zells just take so long to get rid of, right? Like, it's so frustrating trying to get rid of those. And they're again on top of Small Host. Those are dying. This early game, I think it's fair to say, was not it for Scarlet. You just can't let the Adepts do so much and run you around silly and all of that kind of goodness, right? Hogs get turned around. Zeldorkon joined together again. GG, Cristiana, game 1. And up a game in the series, Cristiana. Yeah, pretty convincing. Early game harassment. You just got to be better against that as Scarlet. Sometimes there's no reason to delve deeper than that, you know? Alright, game 2 will be on an Incorporeal. Let's get this hosted up and get ready to rumble. Okay, this game went to shit pretty quickly. I lost track of my getting distracted in chat. Yeah, isn't just you said it happened before. Even it happened before that people had just left and that you didn't have anything to watch, and a lot of people stopped watching. But with who? Like the OG like YouTubers and stuff? Or I'm trying to think of a time where like people stopped. Obviously, Base Trade left, but Base Trade stopped casting when there was already a lot of other casters around. Just genuinely curious. It was an interesting comment, and then I got dragged off to actually having to cast the game. Go gets gold. As we kick off into Incorporeal. Here in the WardiTV European League. Again, we got today and then Thursday's games, and then I'm away for EWC after that, guys. So, when we come back from EWC, the first week back, we'll be doing the Krakow event on the Sunday. We'll be covering that on the channel, and then we'll also be having the, during that week, what do I want to say? During that week, we'll be, obviously we'll come back with WardiTV Mondays. We'll finish off the European League groups, and the European League playoffs are that weekend. And then, after that, we will start the WardiTV Summer Championship. I think throughout August we'll have the Summer Championship. I don't know if we're going to wrap that up at the end of August, or if we're going to wrap that up at the second week of September. The first week of September is my wedding, so I don't know how quickly we're going to run through the Summer Championship, but we're gonna try and run that through after EWC. Like, we'll have the majority. I just don't know how much. I don't know how it's going to plan out. I need to look at the schedule. I don't think there's really many events happening in August. I know Uthermal has a couple weekends of 2v2 stuff. But I'm not sure if... yeah, I don't think there's much else. So maybe we do get most of the Summer Championship done. And that will leave us with the ability to run Korean Royale throughout September. So we can run Korean Royale in September, and then the Full Frenzy in October, and then build into the 2025 Championship through November and into December for the finale of this WardiTV 2025 series. So TLDR, after EWC, we're gonna have a crap ton of StarCraft 2 for you guys. Just to, you know, generally let you guys know. Again, we have the 25, which got increased to 30,000 with crowdfunding. So $30,000 of prize money in WardiTV events coming up over the next 6 months, and that's excluding some of the Mondays and so on. So yeah, some kind of crazy stuff, guys. Kind of crazy stuff. We're gonna have so I think the way we're gonna have those big events, obviously, but I think we're also, one of the main goals is we're gonna have a couple smaller events to fill in a week here and a week there too, fill in some extra days, and we might try and do some interesting format stuff. I think should be fun. But yeah, the main thing we're building to is obviously qualifying players into the WardiTV 2025 Championship at the end of this year. That should be a $10,000 prize pool. So $10,000. If you win the European top 2 of the European League, get direct seeds into like a super deep round of that, so you get to avoid a bunch of the group stages. So the benefit of playing in the previous WardiTV tournaments is that you get to bypass the group stages and stuff of the championship. There's also points on the line as well. So yeah, lots of cool stuff there. Who do I have taking home EWC? Honestly, I don't have anyone taking home EWC. I genuinely think we're in a really cool situation where we're going into the World Championship where anybody could genuinely win. I think there's a few players that are obviously really not likely to win. But when it comes to who will win, I don't think I can say with certainty. I don't think I have any good reason to tell you one guy over the other. You know? Who I think is the favorite? That's what I mean. I don't think there is a favorite. I don't know if there is a favorite. I don't know if there's someone who I put significantly above the rest of the field. I think there's a group of favorites, but that's not a very exciting answer, right? If I just tell you guys like Serral, Maru, Clem, Hero, and maybe Reyno. I think Reyno maybe a tier below, but I'm not sure, honestly. Because I think Reyno steps up at big events as well, so like I kind of want to keep him up there. Classic could have a great run. Pure steps up at big events, honestly. But you know what I mean? Like I don't have any good reason to tell you any of their names over any of the other names, right? You see what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like I don't have any reason to put one of those guys above the rest of the field. So yeah, I don't know. Like Classic's been performing well, but he was performing in a GSL, which meant a lot more to certain players than others. And in, well, RSL is just like another online tournament. So like how much do you really want to take that into, you know, into account? Like, yes, he won some tournaments. He's been looking good. Does that put him up as like my favorite? I don't know if that delivers on the big stage, right? I don't know if that has the same sort of meaning, to be honest. Like, we've had nothing like EWC this year. It's not like we've had, like, even Dallas was like a small prize pool compared to before. And a lot of Dallas was much more about qualifying to EWC than it was for winning Dallas, you know? So we really just haven't really had these big-ass tournaments where it's all on the line, looking for that win. You think Clem and Serral are the clear favorites? I don't think so. If you look at Clem's history recently, do you really think he's a clear favorite against the majority of the players he plays against in EWC? I think he's a clear favorite to make round top 8. I don't think he's a clear favorite to win it all. Clem's a very momentum player. I mean, remember he got forward by Reyno like 2 weeks ago, and then yesterday he smashed Reyno 2-0. You know, like it's up in the air, man. Clem's had troubles against the Protoss guys recently too. Yeah, it's genuinely very competitive right now. Serral and Hero have been absent, yeah. Rogue's been super absent. Maybe he comes in with like the sickest builds and no one knows how to stop him for... Like, that's the thing, like, you know, I could see Rogue making round of 8, but I think he fizzles in the round of 8. I think he runs out of stuff. The Balkans coming through. Roaches and Queens is going to be there, pushing them back. 6 drones going down. The harassment again early in this game is pretty serious. If we come into what we're watching here, 4 depths go down, 12 drones, 5 lings going down in return. It's so hard to bet against Serral or Clem taking it down, do you think? I reckon the combined chance of Serral and Clem winning, I would say like 33%. I'd say 1 in 3 times Serral or Clem wins, because I genuinely think Classic, Reyno, Maru, Hero put up a good fight, and I think there's genuinely like a 1 in 10 chance like none of those top 6 win it as well. You know? Maybe a bit more, maybe like 40% chance that Clem or Serral win. But even then, like to me that doesn't put them far enough ahead as favorites, no? Maybe it should. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating tournament. It's going to be a fascinating tournament. I love it when we go into, like... It's been such a long time since I've gone to a tournament, I'm just not, like, expecting the obvious. And Dallas maybe told us to kind of expect other things as well, which gets me even more excited, right? It's very cool. He'd be surprised if Protoss doesn't win. I'd be surprised if people come into EWC and don't show us like a different way to approach the versus Protoss matchup. There's no way the top players in the world have just been sat there and they don't have an answer for Protoss. You know? I don't believe it. Yeah, it does suck that it's Tuesday to Friday, honestly. I can't disagree with that. StarCraft 2 is a Friday championship game for EWC. So basically, like, EWC want like a different championship match on every day. And StarCraft 2 is obviously like a third tier game for them. So it's like you know, we get to run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Which kind of sucks. Yeah. Grim. I was talking to Apollo about this. I was like, you know that you like they're aware that's gonna like hurt the viewership, right? And Apollo's like, he's like, yeah, but they don't care. They prefer the vision of EWC. I'm like, but does that work against StarCraft 2? Like bringing it back next year if they really care about viewership? And he's like, well, yeah, probably. I'm like, what, bro? you're hurting StarCraft viewership for your vision, and then you're gonna use it against StarCraft 2 for next year? I was ready to fight someone. It's okay, guys. We're just all gonna have to really tune in, okay? On Twitch specifically, okay? Twitch is what they care about. So log in to Twitch, watch the StarCraft. Tell your boss that you don't give a crap what he's saying. It's StarCraft World Championship week. Do what you can. Why does Scarlet keep building Swarmhosts and they're not genuinely rubbish? The Swarmhosts, I would say, have a time and a place in ZVP. I mean, on certain maps they can be pretty good. I haven't seen Swarmhosts in a long time though, which would lead me to think that they're not very good on these maps, but Scarlet seems to be thinking differently. The Swarmhost logo is popping out. Maybe seeing the logos dropping in, Storm coming down, Raptor's gonna get hit. And the +2 attack going up. Nidus comes in as well to move those Swarmhosts around. I just feel like Cristiana has had a good early game, and so he's extremely prepared for these Swarm Hosts. And what that means is that he's just not, like, the first waves aren't going to start putting the momentum in Scarlet's hands at all. And that's going to be really rough for her, as now those Swarm Hosts are actually being caught as well. The Roach Ravager got caught. The whole point of the Swarm Hosts is to play a fairly low drone count comparative to the time of the game, because you can get away with it because the Swarm Hosts are super effective. But that doesn't work if you're losing your Swarm Hosts, and it also doesn't work if you're losing the Roach Ravager that's meant to be fighting behind Locusts. I mean, this is terrible. Scarlet's Swarm Host getting chased down, and Cristiana's just had free reign to push straight across the map. I mean, this is a perfect example of this has just gone completely wrong on the side of Scarlet, as GG just gets called and Cristiana smashes his way through to a 2-0. Scarlet will be mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. We'll still get to play round 5 for some prize money, but in the grand scheme of things, Scarlet is not going to be making the playoffs. Alrighty, let's go into Bion Uthermal. Then European server, and Bion and Uthermal both at 2-1, so one of these guys will put themselves into playoff position. The other will get knocked down to the 2-2 matches, which, like I say, is tough because you got Showtime who's going to be there. Maybe like a Maxpax who could end up there if he loses to Skillus in this round 4. Like 2-2 is turned into a pretty darn scary place to be, man. Cristiana's pretty darn fierce as well. What's up, Rolling Boy? Thank you so much for the 15-month resub on the Prime. Go Zerg! Wardy Boom. Is that the Wardy Boom emote? Oh, I've not seen Wardy Boom in a long ass time. I have so many cool emotes that I just don't even use myself. I still really love the Wardy D. I think it's one of the cutest freaking emotes ever. Just spam it in chat. Make Wardy D great again. Little drone nibbling away. Make Wardy D great again. Alright, let me throw some addy ads up. We're gonna make that moolah, guys. Gonna make the moolah. I wonder how much we made on ads on Monday. Monday was a crazy good stream. Holy goodness. Monday was our best stream financially since in the last 30 days. Damn. The second best in the last 3. Wow, Monday was crazy. Nuts. Am I going to pay HARSTEM to come back? Come back where? On cast? No, it was really good for me that he pissed off. You not realize the viewership peaked when HARSTEM was gone? Like, he raided us, and all his viewers pissed off straight away, and then our viewership got even higher. Love it. I like the Monday vibe at the moment. We cast some good games. HARSTEM gets knocked out. He joins us and casts. It's fun. It's fun. I get to chill. It's just fun. So what have we got left today? We've got Uthermal, Bion, and then HARSTEM, Heromarine, I believe. Exciting. Last Fantasy map 1. Even more exciting. Let's host it up. The best part about HARSTEM is I don't even have to pay him. He just joins because then he can recycle the casts onto his YouTube channel. Tokamak, and what's the last map? Oh, everyone's here, readying up. Players are ready in. Uthermal is currently picking Terran. So we're going to TVT it up for Last Fantasy. This is obviously European service. Uthermal has that ping advantage. Let's see if it's enough to take down Bion, who's in typically very good TVT shape at the moment, right? Hell yeah. Yeah, we had crazy viewership on Monday. Monday was great. I think what's even crazy is that we didn't even have like super crazy viewership for like the fact that the first games were really good. It just, because the stream went on a little bit and we had like a longer stream, like it really helped. It was really sick. Good to see that we can get back up to 2K on a Monday Cup. Hitting 2K viewers is pretty nutty, honestly. I'm super excited to see what the viewership is like after EWC. Sometimes there's a drop-off because obviously everyone's like, okay, that was the World Championship, we're watching World Championship VODs, that was my StarCraft dosage. Sometimes people are like, man, EWC is freaking awesome! And then they come and, you know, look for more StarCraft to watch, right? This is why we're going to try and make sure there's tons of StarCraft 2 following EWC on the channel. That is the plan. Loco with the raid. Loco is so talented, by the way, guys. I've never seen a StarCraft streamer do so many things with their career. This guy is he's a mini painter. He's any other RTS than StarCraft 2 expert, playing all of them. He is an old school RuneScape veteran. There is, honestly, the only thing I don't think Loco can do is still play StarCraft 2 without cheesing the shit out of people. It's incredible, the foundation you build and then completely lose because you become everything else. What's up, Loco fans? How you all doing? Hope you had a fun stream. I was in Loco's chat while streaming? No. I was in Loco's chat before I started streaming. I've only been live for 2 hours. I took Loco's items and I logged into stream. So I was just chilling, you know. I was just chilling. What better way to get ready to cast some StarCraft 2 than to watch one of my favorite streamers, you know? Figure out what I was gonna say nice about him when he raided us. You know? That's the thing, right? You tune into the stream for 5 minutes, he's like, hey, he's gonna finish while I'm streaming, so you tune in for 5 minutes, you make yourself known in chat. He looks at who's live right now when he finishes the stream, he's like, oh, I saw Wardy today, I'll host Wardy. Bam! Just like that. Probably gained like 30 overall viewers once everyone from the raids are mostly gone. You know, some AFKs stick around. A couple people actually do like StarCraft and they watch. You know? But that's a 5-minute investment for plus 30 viewers. And you know those 30 viewers, they go a long way. You know, that's at least 10 minutes of ads I'm going to run onto them. So that's like, you know, 300 minutes of ad revenue essentially. And that's 30 viewers further up the StarCraft directory we end up. So we're 30 viewers ahead of all the other StarCraft competition. So even more people are going to find the stream. See, it's really the master plan. Chill with the reality. Oh, I mean, this you've got to be real to take advantage of these scenarios, you know. All right, this is Real talk, yeah, Uthermal versus Bion in the WardiTV European League. We're playing European service, so Bion is at a disadvantage there. Uthermal is playing in-base 3-Rax Reaper. Command Center coming up, still building Reaper's gonna have a lot of pressure. He's waited a long time before showing this. And Bion, it's interesting because this is the kind of matchup early where, you know, really being aggressive, and there's gonna be a lot of micro involved. And that's gonna be a major disadvantage for Bion playing from Korea on the European server. This is going to be tough, and at the very least here, Uthermal's going to get cancelled on this CC. He's going to try and run up this ramp. He actually takes a pretty bad shot from the Hellion. Oh, the Cyclone locks onto a low or higher HP Reaper. Now another Reaper comes through, taking some shots as well. We are going to start backing this up and running away. Those Reapers trying their best to get the heck out of there. Reapers will rejoin. I think this is great for Uthermal until he accidentally lost too many Reapers, right? Like, he actually... He's meant to have more Reapers still right now. At this stage, the issue is that the Cyclones can actually, you know, attack without being scared of the Reapers, and in that scenario, you're dead. What's up, by the way, Rack? Thank you so much. Holy 14-month resub. Subbing for 3 months in advance. That is, my friends, is what you call belief in the system. Rack is out here thinking, you know what, we'll definitely be here for the next 3 months. Awesome StarCraft 2 right here on this channel. You know what? He might not be wrong. He might not be wrong. That did not work for you, though. You just lost too many Reapers. It's funny because you're like, well, he kind of super died anyway. But honestly, keeping all the Reapers alive really changes what you can continue to do. Like, there's a very fine line between success and just failure in these scenarios, honestly. Very fine line. Who are we missing? Someone's just not here. There they are. They're here now. Ready. GLHF. Uthermal is going to play toss. Bion. Don't think he's going to care. See how his TVP looks. Again to game 2. What was the cancel? Should have went to eco. I think the problem is he's very committed to the Reapers still, so I think he needs more than just a cancel. Like, you're building 3 racks, your CC's late, you're behind on tech because you're building Reapers. You kind of need more than just the CC cancel, I think. 3 months in advance, what a fool. I'm already on my way to the airport with the 25 bucks. But if 3 months in advance gives me 25 bucks, then, ooh, I'm going to tell you all to sub for 3 months in advance. Yo, what's up? Mickey Varix, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to take that 3-month sub. I'm going to just not stream because I make a point, you know. Oh. Real talk. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Why call him Uthermal still? Because he's Uthermal, no? You want me to call him Remarkable? If I call him Remarkable, then even more people are going to come into the chat and be like, who's Remarkable? At least now some people hear me call him, you know, Uthermal and don't ask the question. Who is remarkable, though? I think all of you guys in chat are remarkable for being here today. God, this stream, I've been such a kiss-ass to chat. I've been praising you guys so much. Chat's so great. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for this and that. I feel like we need to bring a bit more chat negativity back in here. It's been way too nice of a day. Bless, you guys are so great saving StarCraft 2's community scene. More. You guys are talking crap. I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's just... Maybe it's just a sign that chat's been really reasonable today. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Let me mod. We don't even have mods anymore. Because people aren't even that annoying in Twitch chat anymore. Like, they barely even break the rules. Nikaract slowly comes in and bans some everyone now and then. I'm like, oh, you're right. They probably were breaking the rules. It's just needed so infrequently. Kind of wild. Kind of wild. You should all balance wine. Look, if you all start balance wine, and I'll join in. Mind if I say a few controversial things? Well, considering you've asked permission, go wild. People are chill except for the balance wine. Yeah, the balance wine is a bit extreme, to be fair. What I love are the people whose life purpose is to complain about the balance. They complain like their life depends on it, and that their complaining is going to be the thing that makes it change in the near future. Like, that's the sort of passion and dedication StarCraft brings to the table, you know? Man, Rory's chat is so nice, you have to turn chat off when watching RSL. Really? Wow, that's brutal. Is this chat that bad? Yes? Well, maybe for Season 2 they'll be able to afford to hire a moderator. Thank Bobbin, Banshee and Cloak coming up. Tank and Banshee both on the way. And Cloak building through, Blink on the way up. Just taking a couple of moments. As Uthermal's gonna poke, but the Banshee's about to hit the natural very shortly. Banshee gets turned out of there. Observer gonna be there. Banshee just about being kept back for a moment or two. Trying to close the distance on these Stalkers. Gonna be able to go. Get one. Cyclone locks on for the Prism. Banshee back in. It's pretty well defended, right? Couple probes is very affordable to lose when the investment is the Cloak Banshee on the other side. Audio online in the evening, what's going on? Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to be a bad dog dad today and not spend time with Ellie until late at night. She's been sulking all day because of it. Back in my day, Wardy used to stream all day, every day. Crazy. Stalker's a good spot in that couple medevacs trying to drop. Stalker's take a chance to blink. Oh no, medevacs! Oh, oh, oh! The Stalker's actually needing to find a way out. One moment. Zealot showed though. Gonna cause some trouble. Back in the cool wardy times, yeah. Back before we had, like, you know, a family life. Slubs used to be me, my little studio, and nothing else to do but cast StarCraft. Cool. Bion's been trying to drop a whole bunch, and he finally gets one into the main base. T-Power's a couple of gateways, which is nice to slow you down a bit, right? Nice to stop Bion by a couple of steps. Bion in a cozy army supply. Getting that Ghost Academy up. Some Vikings on the way as well. A little scan forward as well, seeing what else is going on. This Prism also going to come for a little bit of a check forward here. Thermal attacking at the front at the same time. Going to blink on top of a tank. There's a second tank. That's where you hope the tanks can withstand the Zealots. Good target fire, to be honest. He actually got rid of a lot of the Stalkers. Colossus never really got involved there either. Now they're going to have to try and turn and fight. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Loses one Colossus. Now we're going to see the other two in some trouble, but Zealot's showing up. Man, a lot of Marines died, for God. Bion will be forced to lift up and back away from this. Solid Stalker just collecting back together again. I will take a chance, knock down these rocks. Bion has good upgrades, but they are starting to dissipate. As Uthermal catches up. Bion is just punching across the map. Plus one about to finish from Uthermal. He's blinks in, looking for the Vikings to keep the Colossus nice and safe. And to be a real threat in this game. Prism going to get chased back to the other side as well. And Bion going to disengage from that, realizing it was not quite going to go the way he wanted it to. Now, yeah, Uthermal comes straight back across the map, getting aggressive again. Coming in, trying to make things happen. Love those Vikings already in position as well. Prism has gone in a couple times this game, so Bion going to put a bit more presence toward defending against that. This time we'll do absolutely nothing. There's even a Widowmine on the tail end. It's a Stalker kill right there. So able to make a nice little grab. I'm actually just going to stim in on this other side. This Nexus is in trouble. Vikings are going to get the Colossus. Uthermal's not really in position with any army. There's a bunch of Zealots on the other side that Bion obviously has to come up with an answer for. I mean, that part ain't easy. I just think Bion's going to do so much more. Bionel has some money to warp in with still. Bion's actually coming home. It's a very respectable move. Like, just kills a base, comes home. I think he could have chased forward, to be honest. Gone for even more damage. I mean, there's a bunch of Zealots there now, but he could have ran to the right, got the base on the 3 o'clock. Maybe he just doesn't know about it, though. Kind of makes sense. Come on, let's try and step up the map. We do have the 2 Colossus right there. A couple Stalkers taking damage. Zealots will go down. And just a little bit of bio gathering up. We got the 2-2 upgrades about to complete. Vikings and Marauders coming in. Missile Turret and Planetary Fortress coming online as well. This army comes over to the right side. Bio just going to get a couple of shots off. And the Zealot Stalker going to move up the ramp. Stalkers blink in. 1 medevac goes down immediately. A little EMP on a couple of those Stalkers as well. Bio gonna stem, EMP still coming down. Zealot Stalker Colossus getting caught in that affair. The rest of these Zealots charge back through. Stalkers blink back once more. Snipe, and a few of those Zealots dropping me. I just don't see Uthermal winning fights is the problem. I think Uthermal's actually done a lot good in this game. Where there's just a lot of fights which I'm not really doing enough about right now, to be honest. Like, it feels like every time we trade, these Vikings are here having a good time. This just does feel as though it's going to get very difficult as the Vikings will go after the Colossus. Stalker Zealots coming back through. The couple of Mortals will step forward as well. GG's. Bion is going to take the 2-0 on this one. Alrighty. So, that wraps up that series, and that leaves us with what? HARSTEM Heromarine to wrap up the day. 5 series already a day. Today's just kind of whizzing by. Jeez, it is HARSTEM Heromarine to end the day. Crazy. Crazy. Where is HARSTEM? This guy's always slacking. Give him a message. Get this ready to go. Alright, so we actually have something here that we've not had yet tonight, which is 2 players that are yet to be defeated in this event. Only 3 players are 3-0. HARSTEM, Heromarine, and Skillus. And HARSTEM beat MaxPax 2-1 last week in round 3. He said he was going to do it, and he actually did. And now HARSTEM versus Heromarine will play. One of these players goes to 4-0 and will be absolutely in a great position to vie for 1st to 4th place in the group, which is a winner bracket spot in the playoffs. So we're not just talking about playoffs right now, we're talking about actually maybe having a chance to, get into the winner bracket of the playoffs, which is a big deal, because obviously that's a major advantage you're going to be working with there. Bion moves up to 3-1. He guarantees himself, obviously, his playoff position as well. Uthermal will go to 2-2. The 2-2 matches, man. Showtime, Cristiana, Uthermal, Nikaract, and Night Phoenix all at 2-2 right now. Like, there's going to be a lot of interesting games at that 2-2 scoreline. There's no doubt in my mind. It's going to be very fun to see how that plays out. Incorporeal, Ultra Love getting vetoed. First veto's coming down already. Get that underway. Tokamak. Gonna be game 1. Get the lobby link up, and we'll get ready to rumble. And thanks for joining us for some European League today, guys. Get ready for one final best of 3. Again, we'll not be live tomorrow, but we will be live Thursday with the second half of round 4. Just waiting for one more caster. Go GLHF, GL, let's do it! Welcome back, HARSTEM versus Heromarine, get this underway. Party time, guys. Let's see if HARSTEM can take down Heromarine. I'm actually genuinely intrigued as to how this plays, to be honest. Not sure what to expect. Heromarine was going to be at EWC as well. I did try and give anyone that's going to be at EWC the Tuesday games this week because obviously it makes sense to give them just as much buffer before EWC as possible. It's not like anyone's flying out like Friday or anything. Most people should be flying Sunday, but why make them play on Thursday if they can play on Tuesday, right? Like they actually have something big and important to come up, so get this out of the way for them. Let them focus on their EWC without the Wardy tournament getting in their way. And yeah, that was the idea. So obviously Showtime, Bion, all these guys that are going to be at EWC that are still playing in the European League, having their shot to play some games today. Top right, it is going to be Heromarine. Bottom left, it's going to be HARSTEM. One final best of 3 today. Let's see what the hell happens. Again, both 3-0. HARSTEM knocking max backs down to be 2-1. That's huge. And like I say, guarantees a playoff spot. Like I say, you get to 4-0, and you're in a very good position to, like I say, challenge to be in the top 4. And again, top 4 gets a winner bracket in the playoffs, which is great. It's a second life compared to everyone else who has to start in the lower bracket. It's a pretty huge difference, to be plain and simple about it. So definitely a bit of a factor as the gateway comes through. And we're just going to have ourselves the CC in the refinery coming online. We're just going to get that on the go. And yeah, Rax gas going through, CC building up, SCV on the way, Nexus coming online as well. There's the cyber core dropping straight into play here as well. Just going to get that going. And again, the barracks coming through. Nothing crazy in our first minutes of this one. Going to have the simulator coming through, then the cyber core coming online. Just going to have the pylon and the Nexus continue to drop into place for the moment. And CC in the barracks still building for now. Getting that up and running. And Orbital and Marine continues to produce and get brought into play. Hallucination Pops are going to start going out to the upper right side of the map. SCVs, the factory, continuing through there as the tech lab will finish on the barracks, and the factory can jump across to that as well. Hallucination continues to make its way all the way to the top. As that barracks will start up a reactor, so the factory ready to make that little switcheroo. And Hallucination gets a poke off. And again, the Marine already just hitting that hallucination. Obviously, a Hallucination gives you great scouting here early, so you know the factory's on the tech lab. You can probably presume a Cyclone is going to be on the way here in these early stages as well, so you just get that info right off the bat. And yeah, going to start dropping gases down on the natural as well. Stalker, Warp Gate coming up and online. And HARSTEM already has his Twilight Council finished, so you can get that going in the near future as well. So we just get that set up. Hallucination pops, goes across the map. Away we go. Zoom in. And moving. Again, just keeping that information. He's going to go charge off the Twilight Council early. Interesting choice. Charge is obviously that kind of anti-tank push play. See if that really comes to light here, if that's something which Heromarine wants to actually go into. Usually to make charge work, you want your opponent to be kind of tank pushing, and you kind of want them to think it's not charge as well, so they get overly committed into like a Stalker army they think they can do well against. And then the reality hits where there's, a few Zealots actually make a big world of difference when you try and deal with that after. I had a great example of this yesterday. Showtime taking this first ever WardiTV Monday win over Clem in the finals. If you missed yesterday's WardiTV Mondays, I just spoiled it, so sorry. But B, you should still go watch it, because we had a lot of great games yesterday. Raynor, Classic, Clem, Showtime, all players we watched yesterday. Shin, it was a great day of games, and definitely worth checking out. Probably shouldn't have spoiled it for you guys, but yeah, if you just enjoy watching good StarCraft, you're not super bothered about the spoiler, then there's definitely a stream to watch back on, available on Twitch and YouTube VODs, obviously. Yeah, definitely worth checking. Robo facility in the Temple Archives coming about. The charge is about to complete as we have the Marines knocking down the hallucination. And yeah, I think HARSTEM's very okay with this right now. His opponent's not pushing. He's going to start getting up some Archons and some Immortals. I mean, he's going to get attacked, right? And he's going to have charge to help deal with that. So I do think HARSTEM puts himself in a pretty reasonable spot here initially. Marines hitting that hallucination just a little further as it scouts into the main base, and we'll just see, the second factory coming up. You know what, I like it even more for HARSTEM now, because actually HARSTEM's comp is really good against mech. Like, Immortal Archon from the get-go, like, Stalkers are the kind of units which against mech, it's like, you can do okay against the Cyclones at times, but they sometimes struggle too. Against the tanks and stuff, the Stalkers are going to struggle a lot as well. But honestly, what he's doing right now, I actually think I like quite a lot for the anti-mech play. We'll see how it goes. This Wouldn't will retarget a few times. Just about gets that probe before it gets into the simulator, and we now start chrono boosting the Storm. First Banshee shows up on the third base, and we do have two observers, so we should have an answer to this. Just needs to get in position, and he comes across. Banshee chased away. Hyperflight Rotors coming up is going to be Heromarines' idea of what we do next, heading into. Obviously, Hyperflight gives you that Banshee speed and just ability to, in general, play around the map aggressively. You're going to have a lot of fast harassing units in this matchup, right? You're going to have Cyclones, you're going to have the Banshees, and that's generally the idea, that you're just going to be a little bit of everywhere, and you're going to undo a lot of the weakness of Mech versus Protoss by playing a super active game where the Protoss doesn't just get to build up super comfortably into that anti-Mech army. So, expecting that to be a bit of a factor as we continue through. Double Banshee up top. Gonna return on home. As we see third Banshee joining. Looks though they might just chill out at home until the Hyperflight Rotors kicks in. Banshees do ridiculous DPS. Like, Banshees have absolutely insane DPS. As HARSTEM gets the Observer here and sees a little bit of what's up, that's huge for him. I think he just now noticed the multiple Banshees. And so he's going to be like, oh, I think he's going to get a bit more of an idea of what's going on. Because he did already see the factory, right? And he saw this research. So actually, maybe he did already know. I'm forgetting about the fact he had a good hallucination earlier. But just double confirming. Obviously, seeing the Banshees are still at home as well is a nice little bit of info. I think the number one thing for HARSTEM is if he can actually just shut down the Banshees from doing much of anything, he can really get into a very good position here. So we'll see if that comes to light or not. So that Stalker Templar gathering up, +1 and Blink come through, the High Templar morphs. Those two Banshees going to go chasing out the left-hand side for the moment. Oh, double feedback, gets rid of the cloaking on the Banshees. We don't have Blink yet though, so the Stalker's going to struggle, but none of the Banshees fly back into the Stalkers. Wow, that's huge. We killed 2 of the 4 already, and now the other 2 are going to try and get damage done in the main base, but this is not going as you wanted to. You want way more than that. Like I say, no Blink, so you can't chase just yet, but this was a good initial defense for HARSTEM. I'd say HARSTEM's worker count is maybe not as nice as you'd like it to be. 4th base is now online. He'd like to have that worker count a bit higher. I think he was a little hesitant to go to 4 bases at first as well. Like, he was playing as though there was going to be a big push coming at some stage early that just never arrived, so a little bit of trouble there. Gonna have Stalkers here just gonna get rid of both those Banshees, surely. Oh, we're gonna get away with the one that can cloak. I don't think HARSTEM can attack him. There's gonna be multiple siege tanks. There's Blue Flame against the Hellions. Obviously, we got Storm. Storm is interesting in this scenario as well, because Cyclones getting stormed is kind of a big deal, but they are mobile, so they do have a little bit of dodgeability. And the thing about Cyclones and so getting stormed is that each Cyclone's kind of big, right? So even a good Storm on Cyclones doesn't hit as many units as like a Storm against Bio would. Because right now we're just going to have to drop the Storms anyway. I mean, you can see that. So you can get 5 Cyclones or 4 Cyclones hitting that first Storm, and they do take serious damage if you just sit in that Storm. Like, you just can't let that just happen. The Hellbat's drop on top of this, though, and Heromarine coming diving through. HARSTEM, I really think, has had an eco issue this game. His economy has just not really been as good as it maybe should have been, considering Heromarine hasn't done much of anything. I think that's actually going to be a little bit of a problem right now, as HARSTEM comes under attack from Heromarine, pushing straight across the other side. Those Cyclones split up. They step on forward. Attempt on the front, gonna have to be kind of careful here as well. Drops another Storm down. Stalkers, the Immortals, just continuing through. The Medivacs overhead, doing some healing. Is it enough from Heromarine just to keep pushing in? Honestly, right now, it looks like it might be. HARSTEM has not had a way to stop this. The tanks are going to start lathering in. Oh, I mean, just the fact we're in position on this base from Heromarine is huge, and HARSTEM is not going to be able to handle this mech play. Well, I think he really was ready to deal with the push, and that push just never came. But I feel like the 4th base came in relatively slowly compared to what Heromarine did, and maybe there's just a bit of a misread there from HARSTEM. I don't think the composition's bad. I think composition's fine. I feel like this is truly just a numbers thing, and obviously trying to Storm... Like, I think Storm is just an investment that doesn't go very far, right? Like, it feedback some Banshees. We did get some Storms off. I think all those High Templar would have been better spent as something else. Even just as Archons, maybe, to be a little bit tankier up in the front as well could have been cool. I think the Storms were... I wonder if HARSTEM's actually happy with what the Storms did. The problem is the High Templar are very exposed, and it's very difficult to micro them in the Prism, because you've got Cyclones, and if you come forward to pick up the High Templars, and that Prism gets locked onto, it's disappearing, you know? Nice Storms here, and we try and hold our ground. HARSTEM just not really having the DPS to chew through the army, especially not the front line. The Hellions tanking a lot of those shots, so the Immortals don't get to hit the armored units of the Cyclones in the back, where they would really chunk through them. GG's, and Heromarine will take game 1 of this best of 3. Heromarine off to the races in our final best of 3 of the day, as we'll line on up into a second map on Torches. And there'll be ley lines for map 3 if we get there. HARSTEM tries to rectify this ship into good sailing conditions and get to 1-1 and maybe even win the series at the end of the day. Like I said, it's a huge opportunity going 4-0. You're already going to be playoffs. Like I say, getting winner bracket, really just that second life really does a lot for you as well. I think there's a big benefit, a big bonus in that, to be honest. So, HARSTEM joins us here. Should just be ready to go. That's what Heromarine says. Waiting for HARSTEM to tell us the exact same thing as well. Any moment. Just got back last game. Last series, so either last game or we go to a game 3. Yeah, the only thing I haven't liked about this European League format is that 6 best of 3s ain't it. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I've really enjoyed the format. I think it's been really cool. But 6 best of 3s is just a little short of what I want it to be. Like, we have had some days which have been kind of crazy fast, but at 3-hour streams, I'd just like to see usually 3 to 4 hour streams are what I think is good, or honestly even 4 to 5 hour streams I think are really good for good energy. You know, you kind of get to the point, you get some good games in there, people have interest, it's not too much to catch up on if you're into it, you know what I mean? Like, to me, 4 to 5 hour streams are really good. 3 is just a little short, and I think that's... If we did this format again, maybe we'd find a way to buff up. But honestly, I mean, this format works if you just add players to it, right? So, maybe that's something we can do in the future. I really have enjoyed this format, it's been a lot of fun. Of course, after Thursday, we'll be done with round 4, and then we'll have round 5. That plays the week after EWC, guys, so look forward to that as well. Heromarine, one of the few players that has been meching it up versus Protoss, and honestly, right now, it doesn't seem like much of a meme. He's genuinely been having success with it. He's won a fair few games with this style of play. This is one of the weird ones, though, where I feel like he didn't actually do much with the Banshees. He didn't kind of, like, create, you know, a gap in the matchup based on early harassment. So I'm kind of surprised that it actually ended up the way that it did, because I would have really expected him to, yeah. I really kind of expected it to look a bit different, to be honest. Like when the Banshees got shut down, but HARSTEM just did not have that kind of eco lead, which I think you're meant to see as a Protoss, and then numbers clearly were not there for the fight either. Kind of wild. Is Indy the GOAT Obs? Well, I actually had this discussion earlier today. I talked about observers in great detail. How I think that Indy is the GOAT Obs, personally. Yeah, we had an extended discussion about this earlier in the stream. Because someone asked if, well, I don't know, someone asked, someone mentioned that Roddy thinks Funker is the GOAT Observer. But I never, like, obviously I watch tournaments that Funker observe, but that's very different to, like, casting with someone observing, you know? I'd say it's Mapu. Mapu's been a core part of the observance in a long time too. It's very true. Go to SC2 Indy, yeah. Still felt bad for the captain last game. Yeah, I completely agree. It's it was rough. Two Reapers hop up into the main base. We'll go after some probes. Let's see ourselves. Full work is going down. It's not bad at all. Pretty darn good, honestly, as the Adept. At least holding that command center for a bit. Should never get the Hellion here right. It's going to be the Adept cleaned out. What's up? Thank you, Sean DeWolf, for the 100 bits. Best observers Wardy when he's also admin in solo casting. Yes, I too like following an SCV around the map while the early units are harassing each other and workers are dying. Yes. It's one of my favorite ways to watch StarCraft. This is an odd fight. I don't think anyone has the DPS to kill the other. Obviously, the Stalker's not healing yet because it loses shields first. But once it goes down to having no shields, the health will just regen, so... we will just fight in the healing shrine. Okay, you're gonna get another nibble off as the Hellions get tracked around and get caught. Excuse me, for the moment. The Hellions escape up that right side. Yeah, Blink finishing shortly, Stalker popping out, Robo Facility and Gateway continue to come online. Cyclone, the Marines will unload, and a couple of these probies start dropping down very quickly, so HARSTEM just not in the main base. He's obviously opening Blink this game, so we're going a bit of a different route as Heromarine also goes into additional barracks. No, the Hellions slipping as well. Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. GG. That moment where you realize it's bad and then you're like, oh no, this is more than bad. This is the game. Yeah, Heromarine just catching HARSTEM. Not quite ready to party. Right there. GG. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching today. Like I say, so Thursday will be our last pre-EWC stream, as we'll have more European League. There'll only be 5 best of 3s on Thursday because Skillets and Max Packs can't play, so they're going to play during EWC. And we'll catch up on that later. So Max Pack Skillets will not play, but we will have Mana Goblin. We'll have Jumi Yakov. And then down here we'll have Art and Geralt. That should be fun. And then Hydra versus Mixu. And Fiant versus Baby Marine. Some fun games. Not as many of the maybe the big names of the tournament, right? Heromarines and HARSTEMs played today and so on, but some fun games nonetheless, and obviously some very meaningful ones for who gets to go to 2-2, who gets to compete there. There's actually a lot of contest in those situations, so should be a lot of fun. Alrighty, guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope you've had a fantastic day. Like I say, I know these European League streams aren't the longest, but I guess that's something we can work on for this format in the future. That really is my only criticism of it, is that it's kind of, they are kind of quick, so. Love it. Love it. Alright, guys. Any questions? Anything to ask before we walk off for the night? I don't think I have anything else to add. I think we're pretty cozy, pretty okay. What's my favorite fruit? I don't know. Favorite fruit? I've been really enjoying watermelon lately. But I also really enjoy pineapples, apples, bananas. I'm not really a person to pick favorites. People always bring up these questions of like favorite this, favorite that. Like, I don't have a lot of favorites, you know. When will my next stream start? So we'll be live again on Thursday. That'll be our last stream pre-EWC. So yeah. All right, guys. I will see you all on Thursday. If you want more content, the YouTube will have a video up in about. I'll just put it live as soon as I've made the thumbnail. So probably in about 5 minutes. It's going to be. Oh, Max Packs versus Clam. How about that? For a little bit of a banger. There you go. So some Max Packs versus Clem going to go up on the YouTube if you want to get in and watch some cool extra StarCraft. That'll be a YouTube upload, like I said. That'll be up in a couple minutes. I am on my way to the replay to take a screenshot for the thumbnail. But I'm going to run a set of ads, guys, and the stream will go off. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!